Six Rings camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to Six Rings.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. The injury-ravaged Lions with 3 more injuries to deal with. Running back David Montgomery sprained MCL and starting defensive tackle Alim McNeil torn ACL are both out for the season. Starting cornerback Carlton Davis III will undergo surgery on a fractured jaw and be out indefinitely, reports ESPN's Adam Schefter.
I don't know how many blows one team can withstand, and I don't remember the last time that we've seen one team this decimated with injuries. They have essentially gone through an entire defense.
Lions have more than a dozen defensive players on injured reserve. Testing done today revealed Chiefs quarterback Patrick Mahomes has a high ankle sprain. He'll be evaluated throughout the week to see if he has a chance to play against the Texans at home Saturday. Kansas City then plays Pittsburgh on Christmas Day. 49ers suspended running back Devondre Campbell 3 games for refusing to enter Thursday's game against the Rams. The suspension for conduct detrimental to the team likely ends his season. NBA 76ers center Joel Embiid sinus fracture out at least a week. He'll be reevaluated in 1 week.
Hey, it's your resident Super Bowl champ, Chris Candy, coming up Tuesday. Eagles or Bills? Which team will land in the #1 spot as my top challenger to the Chiefs? Find out at 6:30 a.m. Eastern. It's Unsportsmanlike weekday mornings at 6, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio.
Let's ride! Go!
And off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. It's AFR presented by Relief Windows. I'm Matt.
Love you, Matt.
Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
Used to. And Mr. Toby Tomplake. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. Saints lose a heartbreaker, but a deluge of portal activity for the Tigers. We're getting into all of it. Let's begin as we do every single day.
It's time to pop the top on another edition of AFR with Bud Light. Drink easy.
So, Brian Kelly, after Bryce Underwood... actually, I believe it was a little before Bryce Underwood decommitted. Might have been right after Bryce Underwood decommitted. Brian Kelly said point blank when he was asked about the transfer portal. Well, don't listen to me. Listen to Brian Kelly.
We'll be very aggressive. I think everybody that's followed us knows that we weren't very aggressive in the transfer portal. We put together a defensive line using minimal resources. We've really put ourselves in a position, and I'll use this term
Okay, I don't need more.
loosely.
That's it. I don't really need any more of that. Can I just say like the very first part of that again? Just like the very, very first part about it when Brian Kelly was asked about the transfer portal?
We'll be very aggressive.
Okay, we'll be very aggressive. That's really all I needed. One of my favorite sayings, say it all the time here. You've heard me say it plenty. You probably hear me say it so much. You hate hearing me say it so much. Actions speak louder than words. Well, if actions speak louder than words, then Brian Kelly's actions are screaming right now. Oh, LSU's going to be aggressive in the portal? Yeah. And it's not the numbers. As of this very moment, it's 3:04 p.m. Central Time on Monday, December the 16th. As of this very moment, LSU has 7 transfers committed or signed. As of this very moment. There's more to come, too. It's not about quantity. It's about quality. Let me illustrate. 1 year ago, when LSU added 9 transfers, which again is right around what Brian Kelly said. They want to sign 25 to 30 high school guys and around 10 transfers. But a year ago, the highest ranked transfer that LSU got was C.J. Daniels. He was number 101 in the On3 transfer rankings. They did not have a single transfer inside the top 100. Daniels was 101. Jordan Gilbert was 146. A.J. Swan was 256. Those were your three highest rated transfer additions a year ago. You got that? LSU presently has 7 transfer portal additions. All 7 are inside of the top 150, and 1, 2, 3, 4, and 4 of them rank higher than your highest ranked player a year ago. Barian Brown's 14th. Braylon Moore is not committed yet. The center out of Virginia Tech, not publicly committed, let me say that, but he's number 34. Jakeem Jackson out of Florida, 73. Michael Van Buren from Mississippi State, 91. And oh, by the way, you just added Mansour Delane, a cornerback from Virginia Tech, minutes before we came on air. He's number 115, one spot ahead of Jack Pyburn, who you added earlier Monday from Florida, who's number 116. Bauer Sharp, the tight end from Oklahoma, is 122. And Jamari Butler, the defensive end from Nebraska, is 146. Y'all, every one of the additions so far are all inside of the top 150 overall. Let me start, and I'll give you a quick portal roundup from everything that you might have missed over the weekend. But let me start with the most immediate one. Mansour Delane, literally just here inside of the last half hour, committed to LSU. He's from Virginia Tech. He was a freshman All-America back in 2022 and started the last 2 seasons. So in 3 years in Blacksburg, he played in 33 games with 29 starts. And this year as a junior, had 54 tackles, 2 interceptions. He's got 1 year of eligibility remaining. And he played his true freshman season, was a freshman All-America back in 2022, and then was a starter the last 2 seasons. So we know at cornerback, you've lost Zy Alexander, who was your best guy. You got Ashton Stamps coming back. Now you've added Jakeem Jackson, Mansour Delane, and you're bringing in DJ Pickett, 5-star number 1 cornerback in the country. Does that look more like what LSU's secondary has looked like when Corey Raymond had those dudes as a revolving door to the NFL? Yeah. Brian Kelly said it point blank. They weren't aggressive enough last year in the portal. They added bodies. They didn't add starters. They didn't add impact guys. And I told you on a week and a half ago, I sat in this chair, and I said, while everybody's melting about Bryce Underwood and Jakeem Stewart and Cade Phillips, I said to you, talk to me in a month. You finished with a top 10 class. You needed to retain your roster and see who you got out of the portal. Well, you finished with a top 10 class. You got Garrett Nussmeier coming back. And so far, so good out of the portal. Let's get a quick overview of what LSU has done to this point in the transfer portal. So, on Friday, we talked about it. Bauer Sharp, the tight end from Oklahoma, was the first to jump in the class. He was Oklahoma's leading receiver this past season. Brian Kelly, one of the things that I loved is Brian Kelly, when he was talking about Bauer Sharp, because when Brian Kelly met with reporters on Friday, he gave an update on Bauer Sharp. And while certainly a lot of people were excited about his pass-catching ability, the thing Kelly mentioned over and over again was the physicality, the ability to pull, to run block. He is an inline blocker, and he is a day one impact, plug-and-play starter replacing Mason Taylor. Barian Brown's another one that we were anticipating who came in over the weekend, former 5-star. He was the number 2 wide receiver in the country in 2022. He was a true freshman All-American in 2022 at Kentucky. Not only is Barian Brown a great pass catcher, he is also a dynamic kick returner. In 3 years in Lexington, he has returned 5 kickoffs for touchdowns. He was a return specialist, first-team All-American in 2023. Kentucky was one of the worst pass offenses in college football this year. He was looking for the escape hatch, as was Dane Key. Barian Brown lands in Baton Rouge. We just mentioned Jakeem Jackson, 6-foot, 190-pounder out of Florida. He signed with Corey Raymond in the class of 2023. He was the number 3 overall cornerback in America in the class of 2023. Played in every game as a freshman. Was the starting cornerback this season in 2024. Played in just 2 games, was injured, lost for the season, and now is transferring into LSU. He will be certainly competing to be a day one starter. And by the way, just think about how different a feel that is. I'm talking about a guy that was a top 5 cornerback in the country starting at Florida, and I'm telling you he's going to be competing to be a starter because you've added Mansour DeLon, and you've got DJ Pickett coming in, and Ashton Stamps coming back. Jamari Butler out of Nebraska, another guy we talked about late last week when he was taking his visit to LSU, was also considering Texas A&M. 6'5", 260-pounder. He's played in 37 career games with 16 starts. His great season was 2 years ago in 2023. 8.5 TFLs, 5.5 sacks. You're talking about a full grown-up in Jamari Butler, who at 6'5", 260 pounds is going to be playing a 6th collegiate season. Think of him as a replacement for Savion Jones, that big run-stuffing edge to replace Savion Jones in 2025. Michael Van Buren, a quarterback out of Mississippi State. He was a 4-star, signed with the Bulldogs to play for Jeff Lebby. He was supposed to be the backup in 2024, but Blake Shapen, the starter, was injured, lost for the season. Van Buren ended up playing in 9 games, starting 7 times. He ended up throwing for just under 2,000 yards, 11 touchdowns, ran for another 5 scores. He's Garrett Nussmeier's backup in 2025 and will compete to be the starter in 2026. And then earlier Monday, Jack Pyburn jumped in the boat as well. 6'3", 265. He was the second leading tackler on Florida's team in 2024 with 60 tackles. He'll be entering his 4th collegiate season. He's played in 29 career games. Not much of a pass rusher, but another guy that is very stout against the run on the defensive line. That's 7 already, and we could still expect more, as we mentioned, from Braylon Moore, the center from Virginia Tech, who is expected to pop at any minute, and then also Nick Anderson, the wide receiver from Oklahoma, who missed this entire season. He is the number 10 overall player in the portal. There are projections for Nick Anderson to land at LSU. We do not have anything final there, but when it comes, we'll certainly talk about it. Brian Kelly said they were going to be aggressive. I told you, talk to me in a month. Well, it's been 10 days, 11 days, 12 days? I don't math. How much better do you feel today than you did when you woke up on Wednesday morning of signing day with Bryce Underwood going to Michigan, Cade Phillips flipping to Texas, and Jakeem Stewart going to USC? How much better do you feel today? Told you, talk to me in a month. You still got 3 weeks to go. All right, it's After Further Review. Show Up and Every Day is brought to you by Bud Light. Drink easy with the great taste of Bud Light, the official beer of the Tigers, the official beer of the Saints, and the official beer of AFR. Basketball Tigers are back on the hardwood at the Maravich Center tomorrow. Remember, every Tuesday throughout the season, get in your seats early because up until 10 minutes prior to tip-off, half off select concession items, and among them, Bud Light. So you can drink half-price Bud Light up until 10 minutes before tip-off of LSU basketball games on Tuesday. So get to the Maravich Center and support the Tigers. And drink easy with the great taste of Bud Light, the official beer of AFR. Okay, we'll knock out a quick break. We'll come back. Tons more portal news to come as it comes. We'll certainly share it with you and keep you up to date. We'll knock out a break, come back. Saints lose a heartbreaker, which started embarrassing. Then it became exhilarating. Then it became devastating. We'll get into all the ings next. It's AFR.
AFR.
Brought to you by Darren James and Associates, brokered by LPT Realty. If you are thinking about selling your home, my goodness, you got to call Darren James. 335-7666, 335-7666. If you'd rather text than talk, then text Darren. The number I just gave you, that's Darren's personal cell phone number. 335-7666, 335-7666, 335-7666, or agent225.com. Listen, one of the things Darren loves to do on his social media is give you great advice and insight. He uses his social media as a tool. For example, features that sell your home faster, passions, garage storage, updated bathrooms, a laundry room, an updated kitchen. You want great advice like that on how to get your home sold faster for more money? You need Darren James. Call him right now, 335-7666 or agent225.com.
Think real estate, think Darren James.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans. There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
The Windsor Senior Living Community in Mandeville, Louisiana is a beautiful, vibrant apartment community geared toward seniors. They are nestled right in the heart of Mandeville, where seniors live a more carefree lifestyle in spacious apartments with the peace of mind that comes from having a little extra help. Call the Windsor at 985-624-8040 to schedule a lunch and tour. Come see how the Windsor can be your passport to peace of mind.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs. Even in the case of an after-hours emergency, the light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. For years, you've heard me tell you about Insurance Network of Louisiana, helping you find better coverage for less money. But it's not just for your home and auto. They also offer commercial property. So, retail stores, professional offices like doctors, dentists, attorneys, clothing boutiques. Insurance Network of Louisiana can find you better coverage for less money. They service the entire state of Louisiana, and they're local.
After further review, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding, and oh yeah, they also do interior shutters.
20-19. You win it or you lose it. One play. Rattler rolls to his right. Now throws, incomplete. Incomplete in the corner of the end zone.
We walk off the field with a loss, but I don't know if I've ever been more proud of the team. So it's certainly a mixed bag there. We did not play the game we wanted to play in the first half. That's a little bit obvious. You know, we had one first down and we had 14 total plays, and that wasn't all on the quarterback. You know, we felt like we needed to make a change there at halftime. We did. Spencer did a great job, came in, provided some spark. But not only that, we played. We only gave up 6 points in the second half, which gave us a chance to win. But as I just told the team, we needed one more play, and unfortunately, we dug too big of a hole there in the first half.
It was all on the quarterback, and that's why you made the change at halftime. He's not going to say it. I get it, because he's the head coach of the team, and he's certainly not going to pin it on one player. And I completely understand and respect that. He's not worried about what you or I think. He's worried about maintaining his locker room and the confidence of the team and all that sort of stuff. And I get it, and I respect it. But Jake Haener was atrocious. He was atrocious. The decision to start Jake Haener cost you a football game, period. Period. Your defense sacked Jaden Daniels 8 times. You held Washington to 20 points. Rattler rallied you in the second half. You got a few breaks. They missed a field goal, 54-yarder that would have basically put it out of reach. But you lost because of the decision to start Jake Haener. He was atrocious. I could have been as effective as Jake Haener. I mean, you ran 14 plays in the first half. You were shut out. You can't do worse than being shut out. What an incredibly emotionally conflicting game. I did not expect the New Orleans Saints to win that game. I picked against them. I thought it would be one-sided. And for a half, it was one-sided. The New Orleans Saints had 38 yards of offense in the first half. 38 net yards of offense. Throughout the course of those 3 hours on Sunday, I felt all of the emotions. It was embarrassing watching the first half, where you ran 14 offensive plays. Jake Haener was anemic. You had 38 yards of offense at the end of the first half. That's embarrassing to watch. It was encouraging watching the defense, wasn't it? I mean, that's a defense that was on the field for 41 minutes. 60-minute game, your defense was out there for 41 minutes, and they held a really dynamic offense to 20 points. You got 8 sacks. How about Demario Davis playing his ass off? How old is Demario Davis? Do we have to keep reminding ourselves of this? I think Demario Davis is creeping into the territory of being my favorite New Orleans Saint of all time. Like, my youth, if I could take a brief diversion here, Dalton Hilliard was my first ever favorite player in anything. I'm not old enough to have watched Dalton Hilliard with LSU, but Dalton Hilliard rocking the 21 with the Saints was my first favorite player in anything ever. Like, I've done this job long enough and been around enough coaches and athletes and celebrities and all that stuff that you become a little numb to it. I would probably be starstruck if Dalton Hilliard walked through the door right now, because he was my first favorite. And I've still never interviewed or talked to Dalton Hilliard. Weird that that's never happened. You probably could do that. But anyway, Demario Davis is creeping into that territory of being my favorite New Orleans Saint ever. Is he 35, 36, 40? He's
35.
Is he 42 yet?
No.
Well, when he's 42, he's probably still going to be wrecking dudes, making 14 tackles, just throwing his body out there because he can, and he's awesome. I mean, you're talking about a team going nowhere, organization going nowhere, and that dude is out there at 35 wrecking people with 14 frigging tackles, making every play. I mean, that was encouraging. I mean, it was really exciting watching Spencer Rattler in the second half. Rattler led 4 scoring drives in the second half. Now, Spencer Rattler wasn't awesome. I mean, he completed less than 50% of his passes. So it's not like Spencer Rattler went out there and looked like Josh Allen. It's not like we were talking about an MVP caliber performance. He was 10 of 21 for 135, a touchdown right there at the gun, and no interceptions. He was plenty good enough. Not great, but plenty good enough. And that's encouraging. It was infuriating that you started Jake Haener to begin with. We talked about that all last week. It was exhilarating that you convert the 4th down as the clock's running. Foster Moreau's got to throw defenders off of him so you can get up to the line of scrimmage and spike it. You get the spike, one play into the end zone, bada bing, bada bang, bada boom. Touchdown, Foster Moreau, going for 2. Love the decision to go for 2. And then, of course, it was super disappointing that you weren't able to convert and get the win. But then, the conflicting emotion is you're like, but then the draft stuff, and you lost, and whatever. I mean, I get it. It was a very emotionally conflicting 3 hours. But as my point of view consistently here, as the Saints have been while not mathematically eliminated, they're still not mathematically eliminated. They would have to win out, and you would have to have the Bucs lose out over the final 3. It's not going to happen, but they're not mathematically eliminated. But for as long as they have kind of been out of it, my contention is what I am hoping to see here over the remainder of the season is what are we learning about this team? This is a continued audition for Darren Rizzi. We are learning if Alante Taylor and Kool-Aid McKinstry are capable of being your boundary corners. We are continuing to watch Taliesin Fuanga and Trevor Penning as starting tackles in the NFL, watching Brian Brzee continue to emerge. There's a lot that we're trying to learn there with this team as it continues to go along. But Spencer Rattler's second half performance is one that you have to keep in mind and acknowledge, because what we're all trying to see is like Derek Carr is not leading this team anywhere. I mean, he is what he is today, the same thing I told you he was the day they signed him. He is a lower, mid, upper, bottom tier starting quarterback in the NFL. Still makes him an elite player in the history of the world because he's capable of being an NFL quarterback, a starting NFL quarterback. He's just not a good one. So you've got an 11-year sample. Like you are what you are. 11 years, you are what you are. 11 years into your career. So you're trying to figure out, okay, what's next? Could Rattler or Haener be that? And our whole conversation last week about Spencer Rattler was, I get that it wasn't good those 3 games he started, but how many rookie quarterbacks are good? And especially when they're playing behind a bubblegum and duct tape offensive line without your best weapons. That's the steaming pile of dung Spencer Rattler was handed over those 3 games. At least now, while you still have all your weapons back, at least now he was out there behind your starting offensive line who could actually give him time to operate. Far from perfect. But did you see progress? I did. Would you like to see more? I would. I don't think it's going to go super great on Monday Night Football at Lambeau if he draws the start. But he's earned it if Carr isn't back. How about your defense? 8 sacks. Sacked Jaden Daniels 8 times. Chase Young, 2 sacks. Cam Jordan, great to see, 2 sacks. You know, I look at Chase Young and I go, is that a guy who you're going to commit a long-term deal to? Now, he may choose to sign elsewhere after the season, maybe look to go to a contending team, but he's proving when he's healthy, he is a menace. 2 more sacks against his former team on Sunday. Now, I think Chase Young's going to have a lot of suitors in free agency, but that's a guy the Saints should certainly look at. For the game itself, there are a couple of special teams gaffes it's disappointing. I mean, think about the opening, if you watched the game, if you didn't, the opening defensive possession for the Saints. Commanders are driving, and the defense comes up with a stop. They force a field goal attempt. Washington makes it. Personal foul on Peyton Turner. He contacted the head of the long snapper, which is a personal foul, which was the right call, but it's just a boneheaded play. Gives them a first down. They end up scoring the touchdown. That's a 4-point swing. At the end of the third quarter, this is an officiating gaffe, which is absolutely inexcusable. Washington's lining up for a field goal at the end of the third quarter, clock running. The third quarter expires. And it's not like it was, they snapped it right when it hit 0. It was like 1,001, 1,002, 1,003, 1,000, snap it. And he misses the field goal. Well, after he misses the field goal, then the officials come and say, the half expired, no try. So he gets another crack at it at the start of the fourth quarter, makes it. Apparently, the officials were as interested in watching that game as the rest of us. This is a 7-point swing right there. You gave them 4 because of the penalty, and then they got a gift to get 3 more. I mean, it's your game. Either one of those plays, it's a game. As far as the 2-point conversion, play Rizzi, please, 10. Rizzi 10 on the 2-point play call.
Yeah, I mean, every game you have a couple of 2-point plays up on the menu. I just felt like the Clint and the offensive staff felt like that was our best call. Listen, didn't work out. It is what it is. So, phenomenal drive getting down there and phenomenal drive getting us in a position to win the game. But unfortunately, we didn't execute that last one.
You're a 5-8 football team. There's a lot of people complaining about the decision to go for 2. I have no problem with it whatsoever. I think it's 100% the right call. I can live with the result. You're a 5-8 football team. Listen, if that was the Super Bowl, you're going to overtime. You're a 5-8 football team playing a team that's better than you, and everyone knows the adage that the longer a game goes, like if a game goes to overtime, it favors the favorite, the better team, because you continue playing on. And they're better than you. And Washington, make no mistake, is better than New Orleans. Playing an overtime period would have favored Washington. In this instance, you had one play. One play. And you have an advantage on a 2-point conversion because you know the play. So go run your best 2-point play. Washington had Foster, or it was Juwan Johnson. Had him doubled, incomplete. I don't have the all 22, but if you're watching the game cut, it looked like as Rattler's trying to fit a ball in there to Juwan Johnson, it looked like Marquez Valdes-Scantling was running back toward the field and maybe was open because they had Juwan double covered. Maybe Rattler missed it. I don't know. I'm not a coach. I don't know the play call. I don't know what his reads were. It just looked like you had a guy open in the back of the end zone. I have no problem whatsoever with going for 2. I'm bummed it didn't work out. But the flip side of it is, and we keep talking about the emotional conflict here, you lost. And as you're looking toward the draft, it's probably a better thing for you because you're not going anywhere anyway. So you're not mathematically eliminated, but you will be by next weekend. And, you'll play out the string. I think this I've said all along. I think the Saints got one more win in them. I think they beat Las Vegas in the Dome. I don't think you're winning in Green Bay on Monday Night Football, and I don't think you're beating Tampa, who's going to be playing for the division on their home field Week 18. But for New Orleans, there were positive things to take out of this game, but another loss. And maybe the thing that's going to be most consequential is continuing to look at Darren Rizzi to see if he actually has a legitimate shot of getting this job full time. And I don't know that the answer to that is to the affirmative, but he has certainly has this team playing better, and he's 3-2. As 5 games the interim head coach, he's 3-2, man. I'm not saying that's incredible, but given the ingredients he has to work with and a 7-game losing streak under Dennis Allen, he's maximizing this team and doing it still shorthanded. All right, it's After Further Review. We're glad you're with us. We'll knock out a quick break. We'll go around the SEC next. Stick around. It's AFR.
AFR.
We're brought to you by Action Industries, a proud partner of LSU Athletics. Been telling you about Action Industries for well over a year now, servicing the petrochemical refinery markets, all the plants up and down the river. Been doing that for 42 years. What you may not know about Action Industries is about the Advanced Turnaround Group. So at Action Industries, and I had lunch with my buddy Chuck over at Action Industries. Well, actually went to Curbside on Government Street, but from Action Industries. Just a few weeks back, and we sat down and had a great conversation. It was me and Chuck and Chad and Jordan and Erica. We had a great lunch. And not Erica, my wife. Erica, who works at Action Industries. We had a great lunch. And they told me so much about their turnaround division, the Advanced Turnaround Group. This is a completely different pool of resources. Same great company, same great local ownership, but a different pool of resources, all committed to turnaround work. It's the same people at Action with workers who are proficient in turnaround work. There's turnaround managers, turnaround coordinators. So when it comes time to bid your job for your next turnaround, remember Action Industries.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Looking for the ultimate game day experience? Come to the Queen Casino in Baton Rouge. Wall-to-wall TVs mean you'll see every touchdown in HD. Place your bets and feel the thrill of every play with our DraftKings Sportsbook. The Queen Casino, where every moment is a win.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends for 50 years of success.
And looking forward to 50 more.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com.
After further review, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding, and oh yeah, they also do interior shutters.
Just threw me a little there.
Okay. I mean, you just kept giving me side eye. I don't know. It kind of skipped when I hit play. It kind of skipped a little bit.
The song itself.
Yeah.
Tigers keep rolling in the portal. If you're just joining us, missed the start of the show, LSU has landed yet another transfer, cornerback Mansour Delane out of Virginia Tech. Just minutes before we came on air, jumped aboard with the Tigers. So the 7th overall and the second cornerback to join LSU. We're waiting on more. Literally more. Braylon Moore, the center from Virginia Tech. We're expecting he'll be a Tiger. And then there have been a lot of various unconfirmed reports about Nick Anderson, who's the number 10 overall player in the portal, receiver who was incredible 2 seasons ago at Oklahoma, didn't play this year, leaning toward LSU, my goodness. Brian Kelly said they were going to be aggressive, told you they were flush with cash, with money to spend, and going to be aggressive in the portal, and so far, so good. But we'll have certainly a full portal reaction whenever the portal window's closed, and we know we'll have a much better sense of what this roster is going to look like for 2025. But everyone they've added so far, impact across the board, and more to come. So we'll keep you posted. All right, it's After Further Review. We're glad you're hanging out with us here. We're brought to you by our friends over at Parish Restoration, that patented non-toxic dry fog treatment, kill mold, remove odor. Go to one website, parishbuilt.com. Same thing I tell you for Parish Construction and Roofing. Same website, parishbuilt.com. Just hit the restoration tab. One thing that I learned, we were over at our parish marketing meeting. I didn't even realize this. And someone had asked me this a while back, will they fog a vehicle? Yeah. So, let's say you bought a used vehicle and maybe it was a vehicle that was, a smoker had that vehicle for. So it's a lot of that odor. Maybe it had water, so you've had mold or something like that, or mildew, and it's hard to get that odor out of a vehicle. Then come to your work or to your home and fog the vehicle. So you're at work, to come fog it while you're at work, and then by the time you're done work, boom, you're in a fresh-smelling vehicle. Of course, you're your home or any size commercial building. Parishbuilt.com, parishbuilt.com. Do business with someone, Parish Restoration, parishbuilt.com. Hit the restoration tab. I will go around the SEC in just a smidge. LSU basketball. The SEC was 15-1 on Saturday. The one loss was LSU losing in Frisco to SMU, 74-64. Is odd because the Tigers throughout the course of the season have typically started slowly and then caught fire in the second half. The Tigers went up to Frisco and led SMU by 6, 33-27 at half. And then it was just 13 second-half turnovers that was LSU's undoing, and they got outscored 47-31, got outscored by 16 in the second half. So a 6-point lead became a double-digit loss for the Tigers. Here was Matt McMahon on the adjustments SMU made in the second half.
They just leave the big fellow down there around the rim, and we got into the paint and made our decisions right there around the free throw line. Those turnovers early in the second half, for some reason, we just drove it right into them, right into the restricted area. They got in there and swarmed us and forced some bad turnovers for us. And then I thought they were able to, when they took them out in the second half, they changed their ball screen coverage. Those guys were out there, really denying Cam, Jordan touches, and then they were doubling a lot of the ball screens, making them give it up, and we were unable to capitalize.
It was, it was a game where the box score tells the story. You heard Matt McMahon say it. LSU got outscored 42-26 in the paint. You got out-rebounded 41-31. And then you had 13 turnovers in the second half alone. Cost the game. So for LSU, their net ranking falls into the 60s now. Now, SMU is a top 40 net ranking team, so that's a quote-unquote good loss. But at the risk of being repetitive, the SEC is the number one net ranking conference in college. Like, if you're not paying attention, I understand. Like, everyone's into football, and the playoff starts. Hard to believe the playoff starts on Friday, by the way. The first round of the college football playoff is this Friday. It's 4 days away. The on-campus playoff games. So not everybody's super locked into college basketball. I get it. The SEC is awesome. Legitimately, Tennessee, Auburn, Alabama may be the best teams in college basketball this year. It's the deepest, most talented I've ever seen the SEC. And all the stats back that up. It's going to be very hard for LSU to get above 500 in this league. Might be hard to get to 500 in the league because of how good and talented this league is. So you've got to stockpile your wins now. You got 3 more pre-conference games. You got Stetson. You've got UNO and Mississippi Valley. You got to win all 3. Get to 11-2. Fight, scratch, claw your way to 8 or 9 league wins. Get to 20 overall, and you should hear your name called on Selection Sunday. But you got 3 more pre-conference games. You got to get them all. All right, it's After Further Review. Do it every day about this time. Let's go around the SEC.
Around the SEC, bringing you the biggest news from the nation's best conference. The Alabama Crimson Tide.
Quarterback Jalen Milroe will enter the NFL draft, according to a report from Alex Scarborough at Bama 24/7. Milroe is expected to formally announce his intention after the bowl game. The ReliQuest Bowl is on New Year's Eve, and some poor NFL team is going to waste a first-round pick on Jalen Milroe.
The Ole Miss Rebels.
Offensive tackle Micah Pettis has announced his plans to enter the transfer portal. Junior started 11 of 12 games this year for the Rebs, started 9 games in 2023 before suffering a season-ending injury. So in 3 years in Oxford, he started 29 games after signing as a 3-star. He will be one of the most coveted offensive linemen in the portal.
Texas A&M!
Former Texas Tech wide receiver Micah Hudson, a 5-star receiver coming out of high school, has committed to Texas A&M out of the transfer portal. Played 8 games as a freshman, catching just 8 passes. He was the number 12 overall player in the country for 2024, but barely made an impact at Texas Tech. We'll see if a change of scenery will help.
The Texas Longhorns.
Arkansas transfer linebacker Brad Spence has picked the Longhorns. 54 tackles, 6 TFLs, 4.5 sacks this past year for the Razorbacks. He was a 3-star in the class of 2023, 2 years of eligibility remaining.
The Missouri Tigers.
Former Nebraska linebacker Mekhi Bayor is expected to pick Missouri out of the transfer portal. 73 tackles this past season for the Cornhuskers. He'll have 2 years remaining for Mizzou.
The Kentucky Wildcats.
Former Bowling Green offensive lineman Alexander Wolschlager has signed with Kentucky. He was a member of the 2020 class, so he'll be a super senior in his 6th year when he plays for UK this season. Had interest from Kansas State, Northwestern, Pitt, Georgia Tech, Louisville, and others.
The Auburn Tigers.
And former Auburn defensive lineman D'Angelo Trill Carter was shot over the weekend. Actually, it was Thursday night in Charlotte, but wasn't reported until The Athletic reported it over the weekend. Incidentally, Carter was hospitalized for less than less than 3 hours. Thankfully, it was a lower abdominal injury. Surgery was not required. So thankfully, Carter, okay, but still a scary situation. Carter just is finished his eligibility with Auburn this year. All right, there you have it. That is Around the SEC. We're brought to you by our friends over at Michelli Weighing and Measurement. Michelli.com. For more than 75 years. As a matter of fact, I was doing TV this morning down at Your View, was recording a Breaking Down the Bowls show. And that studio is actually not far from Michelli. And I point that out because despite the fact that Michelli has continued to grow over 75 years, expanding to 13 different states now, they continue to maintain their local ownership and local presence right here. It's Michelli Weighing and Measurement, Michelli.com. They do all different types of calibrations. Look, go to the services tab on the homepage and you'll see pressure gauges, multimeters, torque wrenches, so much more. So many people see the website there and realize, oh, I didn't realize you did that. It's Michelli Weighing and Measurement. Look, one of the things I love telling you about is like the track system, the track records, assets, and calibration. So like, let's say your company's building a piece of machinery and you need thousands of tools calibrated. Well, how long will it take? When will they be ready? You can follow that progress there on track, totally free. It's Michelli Weighing and Measurement, Michelli.com, Michelli.com. At Michelli, we show the world what measurement can do. Okay, it's after further review, and glad you're hanging out with us here. We'll knock out a quick break. Travis Hunter won the Heisman over the weekend. A little reaction to that. And I do want to circle back to Michael Van Buren. LSU added a transfer quarterback over the weekend. And obviously, anytime we talk about the quarterback position, that's going to be significant. So I want to go a little deeper dive into that. We'll do it after SportsCenter coming up here in about 15 minutes. Don't you move. It's AFR.
AFR.
Y'all, it's not too late. It's not too late to go get your Christmas tree from Clegg's Nursery. You can go by any of the 4 locations, Siegen Air Airline, LA 16 in Denham, Mid-City on Donmore, and the Garden Center on Greenwell Springs. But because we are now 9 days away from Christmas, look, Margot and Todd needed a tree late. If you're pulling a Margot and Todd and you need a Christmas tree late, you can go to Clegg's. But it's gift time. Let's buckle in. Let's buckle down. Lock in. If you need a gift for gardeners, they've got them at Clegg's Nursery. They've got gift cards as well at Clegg's Nursery. It's a perfect gift for a gardener on your list and anybody that's maybe loves to do work around the house or do it yourself. Citrus trees are a great gift as well. So tuned wind chimes, bird feeders, they got plenty gifts at Clegg's Nursery.
When you can't rely on technology, you can rely on Mountain Cold Refreshment. Dave's back on. Coors Light. Choose chill.
It's no secret. The best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. Breck, your #1 park system in the nation.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs. Even in the case of an after-hours emergency, the light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. For years, you've heard me tell you about Insurance Network of Louisiana, helping you find better coverage for less money. But it's not just for your home and auto. They also offer commercial property. So, retail stores, professional offices like doctors, dentists, attorneys, clothing boutiques. Insurance Network of Louisiana can find you better coverage for less money. They service the entire state of Louisiana, and they're local. So call today at 293-0450 or lainsurance.net.
At Relief Windows, we're more than windows. We're windows, doors, hardy plank, and vinyl siding. But our #1 product.
After further review, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding, and oh yeah, they also do interior shutters.
All right, wrapping up hour number 1. We're glad you're hanging out with us here. I feel like we're just on a perpetual portal watch right now with all the guys that could pop for LSU with so many irons in the fire. So we're doing our best to follow all of it, and I'd recommend you go check out LouisianaSports.net. All of our guys, Hunt, Marler, everybody's all over it. So as this news continues to unfold and develop, we'll have it all there for you. The one worth keeping an eye on right now, and this is a hat tip Steve Wiltfong over at On3. Wiltfong's reporting that South Florida safety transfer Tawfiq Bayard is set to visit LSU. He's actually visiting LSU today, Monday. So on LSU's campus, it's already been a pretty nice day for LSU in the portal with 2 commitments already today, both on the defensive side of the ball. But Bayard, 6'1", 200-pound safety, just finishing up his first year at South Florida. He's got 3 years of eligibility remaining at his next school. He visited Virginia Tech this past weekend, and he's set to go to Colorado next. So Virginia Tech, LSU, and then Colorado. One of the things that so over the weekend I was doing Locked on LSU, and shameless plug. If you would, I'd really appreciate if you go subscribe. Locked on LSU, however you get your podcast, or on YouTube. It's daily LSU podcast that I do. One of the things I mentioned over the weekend when we were talking about Jack Pyburn, who's the Florida outside linebacker who committed to LSU he was visiting LSU on Sunday, and Monday he signed. He's now an LSU Tiger, and he was supposed to go on other visits. And one of the things that the comparison that I drew was it's kind of like an NFL free agency, where when you get a visit in free agency from a player, you don't want them to leave without signing a contract, right? Like that's kind of the telltale is if they leave without signing the contract, it's probably not a good sign. Like when you get them in your facility, you want them to sign the deal. So it feels kind of similar here. When you get these guys on campus, there's no better way to sell them than when they're here. Like you have them there with your coaches. You have your NIL offer. You have your facilities, your trophy, like all the things you could do. You could take them to dinner. Like Jack Pyburn was at, I was texting my buddy. Well, maybe I won't say the name. But anyway, like Jack Pyburn was with Blake Baker and Kevin Peoples last night at Ruffino's. So they were whining and dining. I don't know about the whining part, but they were dining and wooing, trying to get him here, and it worked. So Pyburn's now an LSU Tiger. So, they're keeping an eye on Tawfiq Bayard, safety, see if LSU can get him. The number 1 safety in the portal was Dylan Thieneman from Purdue, who over the weekend committed to Oregon. So it's a reminder that while it's very exciting to talk about all the visits and all the possibilities where, Hayes Fawcett's churning out graphics left and right, with the portal target and his 3 locations or whoever it may be. It's exciting to see the Tiger Head logo there, but you're not going to get them all. It's like bobbing for apples. I mean, you're going to shove your head in that water 100 times and you're not going to come up with an apple every time, but you got to get enough to make an impact. So far, LSU's doing that. You're getting enough, but you got to make sure you get enough at your positions of need, and safety is certainly one of them. That was, of all the musts we listed, right? Wants, needs, musts. Musts were wide receiver, check. Tight end, check. Defensive end, check. You have to go get a starting caliber safety in this cycle. We'll see if maybe Tawfiq Bayard will be one of those. All right, it's after further review. My Evermore's empty. I need to run. Well, top of the hour's coming. I'm going to run up to my office, get another bottle. Drink Evermore. Natural artesian water. Drink it every single day. You can get it at great local retailers or online, evamore.com, EVAMOR, evamore.com. They got national distribution, so even if you're listening, watching outside of Louisiana, go to the website, evamore.com, hit the Find a Store tab, and find a store near you that sells Evermore. Support a great Louisiana company, a healthier form of hydration. It's Evermore, EVAMOR. Okay, we'll come back and talk about LSU's transfer quarterback, Michael Van Buren.
AFR.
Brought to you by First South Farm Credit. If you're thinking of buying land, your first call should be to First South Farm Credit. We're coming up on the first of the year. And if maybe in the new year, one of your first priorities is going to be buying land, your first call should be to First South Farm Credit. That's First South Farm Credit. FirstSouthLand.com. FirstSouthLand.com. There's so many reasons to buy land. You know, land is a finite resource. It's never going to go down in value. Maybe you're thinking about an investment property. First South Farm Credit. Highly recommend it. Talk to your CPA about the benefits of owning recreational timberland. Maybe you're thinking of having your first Christmas at your forever home next year. First South Farm Credit can help you buy that piece of land to build your family's dream home. Your first call should be to First South Farm Credit. Go to FirstSouthLand.com. Again, FirstSouthLand.com.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends for 50 years of success.
And looking forward to 50 more.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
When it comes to choosing energy for your family and your home, make the smart choice with natural gas. You can count on efficient and affordable natural gas to keep you comfortable and reduce your environmental impact to help protect our planet. Together, we're fueling our energy future. Atmos Energy.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. The injury hits keep coming for the Lions. Running back David Montgomery sprained MCL, out for the season, as is starting defensive tackle Aleem McNeil because of a torn ACL. Starting cornerback Carlton Davis III will undergo surgery on a fractured jaw and be sidelined indefinitely. At least a dozen Detroit defensive players are on IR. After further testing today, Chiefs quarterback Patrick Mahomes, diagnosed with a high ankle sprain, will be evaluated throughout the week to see if he's got a chance to play against the Texans Saturday. Then there's Christmas Day against the Steelers. KC should consider sitting Mahomes, advises ESPN NFL analyst Herm Edwards.
He can't protect himself. That's a concern because you need him down the stretch to be healthy. And he's a tough guy, a competitor. He'll want to play. But you got to save him for the playoffs because the way this thing looks right now, guys, if the weather's clean, these teams over in the AFC side, there ain't going to be many 14-10 games.
Herman Carlin versus Joe. Sacramento State in discussions to hire former NFL QB Michael Vick as its new head coach, reports ESPN's Adam Schefter.
Hey, it's your resident Super Bowl champ, Chris Candy, coming up Tuesday. Eagles or Bills? Which team will land in the #1 spot as my top challenger to the Chiefs? Find out at 6:30 a.m. Eastern. It's Unsportsmanlike weekday mornings at 6, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio.
Let's ride!
Hour 2, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR, presented by Relief Windows. I'm Matt.
This is Shaq O'Neal, and I hate Matt.
Paul O'Neal.
They're chanting Paul O'Neal's name.
You so. And Mr. Toby Tom Blake. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. Tigers have landed 2 transfer commitments from the Florida Gators. Brandon Olsen of Locked On Gators will be with us about an hour and 15 minutes from right now. We'll get the latest on Jakeem Jackson and Jack Piber on the 2 Florida commitments. We'll talk to Chris Marler, our SEC writer for LouisianaSports.net. We'll talk to him about, here in about 15 minutes, about, from a conference perspective, who's had the most impactful first week and a half in the portal, either good or bad. So we'll get a 10,000-foot view of the league, the SEC, so far in the first week and a half of this portal window. One thing we've seen quite a bit is this intra-conference transferring, a lot of SEC to SEC movement. So far, 5 of LSU's 7 commitments as of right now are from SEC schools. And among them is their quarterback commitment. He's not a commitment anymore. He's signed. LSU's made it official. He is signed. Michael Van Buren. So I'm going to tell you about Michael Van Buren, what I think his 25 role is, 26 role, future, how it all impacts Colin Hurley. I'm going to get to all that in just a second. But I want to remind you, Bryce Underwood flipped from LSU on a Thursday, the Thursday before the Vanderbilt game. And we all had the reaction that we did. It was jarring when it happened, but it happened. LSU beats Vanderbilt that Saturday, and then on Monday, Brian Kelly's at his press conference, meeting with reporters. And while he was not able to talk specifically about a player, right? Because Underwood hadn't signed anywhere yet, and coaches can't talk about recruits until they sign. He was asked if they still planned on taking a quarterback in this class. And here's what Brian Kelly said.
Yeah, I think we'll always look at taking a quarterback each year, and we'll most likely take a quarterback again this year. We look at the calendar year a little bit differently than just December. You know, we have a February signing period. We have a transfer portal. So we'll continue to look at that and see how that best fits our roster. But I can tell you this, that the overall roster is much more important than one particular position. As much as we want to take a quarterback at this position, I think what's more important is the overall health of the roster. And so if it ends up being that we do take a quarterback, that's great. But I think our eye is on the strength of the entire roster.
Okay, a few things that he said there. He told you they planned on taking a quarterback, right? And he also talked about the calendar year and not just thinking of it in terms of the calendar year 2024. He told you, look, you had the December signing period. You had a December portal window. You had a February signing period. You had a spring portal window. I'll remind you, Joe Burrow joined LSU after spring football in 2018. So the idea is always that they were going to add a quarterback. They just didn't know when. At that point, it was still very sudden. I mean, you had Bryce Underwood committed for a year. I mean, he was your guy, and then very suddenly he's gone. And so there was Bryce Baker, who was the commitment at North Carolina, when Mac Brown got fired, he decommitted from North Carolina. LSU and Penn State were in the mix there. They hired Belichick. He ultimately sticks with North Carolina. Okay, so it was just going to be a process of seeing what was available to you, but the plan was always that they were going to take a quarterback, and it's 100% the right decision. You must take a quarterback every year. You've got to have 4 scholarship quarterbacks every year. You can't leave yourself vulnerable, especially when the rules allow for you to better your roster. In this climate, as the rules stand, it's effectively as if every player can test free agency every year. There's unlimited transfers, and there's money flowing freely. So every year, a player can go test the market. They can go test free agency if they want. So you can't marry yourself, just be pot committed to one player at a position, because that guy could be gone in a year. It's the old adage. Mike D was here with us for 10 years, talked to Mike Detillier every Thursday. And one of his favorite sayings, he said all the time, in the NFL, you're never staying the same. You're always getting better or getting worse. You are never staying the same. And you have to look at building a college football roster the same way now. Because if you're not, somebody else is. And you had to add a quarterback. So I know one of the most common question I've been asked about LSU adding Michael Van Buren is, what does that mean for Colin Hurley? And as crass as this is going to sound, it doesn't matter what it means for Colin Hurley. Now, I'll talk about that because it's a relevant part of the conversation, but for 2025, Michael Van Buren makes you a better team in 2025. What about, you cross that bridge down the road when you get there. For 2025, you are a better team with Michael Van Buren on your roster. Let me tell you about him real quick. Then I'll answer that question as to why. So Van Buren in the composite was a 4-star. He's a 4-star assignment with Mississippi State. And remember, Jeff Lebby is an offensive guru. Lebby was the OC at Ole Miss, OC at Oklahoma, when they won 10 games with Dylan Gabriel. He gets the head coaching job at Mississippi State. They were really bad this year. They went winless in conference play. Lost at home to Toledo. Got housed at home by Toledo. But remember, they had brought in Blake Shapen, who we got to talk to incidentally at media days. Blake Shapen was the Baylor starter who was the starting quarterback when Baylor won the Big 12 with Dave Aranda. Remember that? So Blake Shapen was the starter. Van Buren was the freshman who come in, was the backup. Shapen gets injured. Well, Van Buren ends up playing in 9 games and starting 7 of them. So as a true freshman in the SEC, he started 7 games, threw for just under 2,000 yards and 11 touchdowns, ran for 5 more touchdowns. Now, he did have 7 interceptions. And that's a problem. You got to cut that down. But you're talking about a guy who got invaluable experience this year in the SEC. Only one of the games he played was a non-conference game against UMass. Every other game he played was a conference game in the SEC. So you have a guy here who was highly regarded as a prospect, has a year of experience in the SEC and playing in the conference, and is a high ceiling guy. Talent, athleticism, all that stuff. So knowing that, let's go back to the point about Van Buren making you a better team in 2025. Let's say, hypothetically, knock on Formica, but you're playing Clemson on the road in the opener in 2025 and Nussmeier turns his ankle. Who do you want to go in the game? A.J. Swan? We just saw that against Oklahoma. How did that look? Not say he can't get better, but A.J. Swan, Colin Hurley, who I guess at that time will have turned 18, but has not taken a snap, or Michael Van Buren, a guy that started 7 games and threw for nearly 2,000 yards this season as a freshman. Who would you rather run out there and lead your offense for a drive, a series, a half, whatever it is? Pretty easy answer, isn't it? When you frame it that way, you are a better team in 2025 with Michael Van Buren as your backup quarterback. It's Garrett Nussmeier's team. He's not coming in to compete. But it's another part of this conversation that makes it really interesting. He's coming here knowing Garrett Nussmeier is here. So he's coming to Baton Rouge knowing he's the number 2, at best, the number 2. But is willing to sit and wait and be Garrett Nussmeier's backup and then compete for the job, in theory, in 2026. I like that a lot. Come get your feet planted. Get ingrained in the culture. Learn the system. Learn the coaches. Learn the players. Learn the expectations. Grow, develop another year physically, mentally, emotionally, all of it. And then in 26, compete to be the starter. Or he transfers before 2026 because he can. And maybe Colin Hurley will too. Or maybe Colin Hurley transfers in the spring. Or maybe he transfers tomorrow. Or maybe Colin Hurley stays at LSU, becomes a 3-year starter, and wins a Heisman. I don't know. But you've got to view this through the lens of understanding it's not like it was. And not just that guys don't stay. Guys don't stay year to year anymore. And that's okay. The system allows for it. And just like I'm okay with players using that system to their benefit to maximize value, playing time, everything, it's fine. But the flip side of that is also true. I'm good with the school, the football program, using that system to make its team better year after year after year, however they can. You're never staying the same. You're getting better or you're getting worse. So get better. Because I'll tell you this point blank today. Garrett Nussmeier, done after 2025. I don't care if Van Buren and Colin Hurley both stay. You should still go into the portal next year and find a starting quarterback in the portal. Because why not? Go find someone that might be better than the guys you have. It ain't about loyalty. It's about winning. How do you do that? Go find better players. And maybe the guy on your roster is the answer. It was with Nussmeier. And maybe it will be with Van Buren and Hurley and or Hurley. And maybe not. But you cross that bridge when you get there. You add Michael Van Buren because he makes you a better team in 2025. Now, as for Colin Hurley, I've been asked a ton about Hurley, projectability, people sort of aghast. I want to remind you, this is one of the things I hate about reclassifying. Colin Hurley showed up on campus last spring as a 16-year-old. You don't have to have played college football or know anything about it. You just have to be a human that was 16 at one point. Are you a human that was 16 at one point? So if you're younger than 16, you won't get this. But if you're a human being listening to me, I don't care if you're a male, a female, if you're young or old, what country you were born in, it don't matter. If you were at one point in your life 16 years old and you were older than that now, you'll understand what I'm about to say. Think about your physical maturation from 16 to 17 to 18 to 19 to 20 to 20. You get my point here? I'm not telling you Colin Hurley's never going to be great. I'm just telling you today, he ain't great. And if you're sitting there pounding the table going, Colin Hurley is great, you ain't seen Colin Hurley play. The only time I'm talking to you, unless if you're a rich booster who got to go to a scrimmage or a media member who got to see fall camp and stuff like that, the only thing you have seen of Colin Hurley in an LSU uniform is a few series he got last year in the spring game. Or if you go to Tiger Stadium early enough to watch warm-ups. That's the only thing you have seen. You know who sees him every day? The coaches. And they know he has a long way to go. And that's okay. You develop from 16 to 17 to 18 to 19. So let him grow and develop. Let him get better. Let him improve. And when he's ready, let him go compete for it. That ain't today. And it ain't going to be in 2025. Maybe it will be in 2026. Maybe it'll be with LSU. Maybe it'll be somewhere else. I don't know. But what I do know is that regardless of what adding Michael Van Buren to your roster means for Colin Hurley in 26 or beyond, adding Michael Van Buren makes you a better team in 2025. And that is the singular objective year to year in the portal era. How do you make your team better immediately? Worry about the future when the future comes. How do I make my team better today? Michael Van Buren makes you better today. All right, it's after further review. If you need a gift for the hard-to-buy-for person on your list, Supper Club. Supper Club gift cards are there, y'all. SupperClubBTR.com. You can get the gift card in-house or online. Now, they're closed Sunday, Monday, so this actually be a great time to get to the website. SupperClubBTR.com. Maybe for a client, maybe for a family member, maybe for a hard-to-buy-for friend. SupperClubBTR.com. Get that Supper Club gift card. Give them an experience. What do you get for the person that has everything? You been through that before? You ask a family member, relative, loved one, friend, what do you want? I don't need anything. I got everything I need. Get them an experience. That's dinner at Supper Club. Gift cards, SupperClubBTR.com, SupperClubBTR.com. Remember, still taking reservations for Christmas Eve. If you want to eat dinner at Supper Club on Christmas Eve, get your reservation at SupperClubBTR.com, SupperClubBTR.com. Okay, it's after further review. Monday shows are brought to you by Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com. Well, now I got a quick break. I do want to get an update on Derek Carr from Darren Rizzi. We'll also talk to Chris Marler about all the portal goings on and everything as it pertains to the SEC. We'll get into all of that. Glad you're here. It's AFR.
After further review.
You know, if you have family coming in for the holidays, you could always get them set up at one of two amazing hotels in Baton Rouge. The Watermark downtown, the Renaissance Southtown. The Watermark, voted by you the best hotel in the Best of 225 awards. It is Baton Rouge's premier hotel property. It's in downtown Baton Rouge. If you have never stepped foot inside the Watermark, what are you waiting on? It's like stepping into a time capsule, a piece of history, a piece of Baton Rouge's history. The original high-rise building in downtown Baton Rouge, which has now been modernized while maintaining a lot of that architectural history and integrity with all the modern amenities. It's gorgeous. It's the Watermark Hotel in downtown Baton Rouge. And then, of course, there's the Renaissance Southtown right there on Bluebonnet. The Renaissance is the home away from home for the LSU Tigers. It's where the Tigers stay before every home football game on the Fridays before home football games. Sprawling, gorgeous hotel right there on Bluebonnet across from the Mall of Louisiana and Perkins Road. It's the Watermark and the Renaissance Hotels.
There it is, the extra mile. On the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further. Like vans customized for work or play. With safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team. And backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Looking for the ultimate game day experience? Come to the Queen Casino in Baton Rouge. Savor game day platters and snacks, plus drink specials at 1717 Kitchen and Cocktail. So come out for game day and let our team make you the MVP. The Queen Casino, where every moment is a win.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
BRAC teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered gold. BRAC, your #1 park system in the nation.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs. Even in the case of an after-hours emergency, the light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
At Atmos Energy, our Smart Choice solutions help customers save energy and emissions with rebates up to $500 off high-efficiency natural gas appliances.
After further review, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding, and oh yeah, they also do interior shutters.
All right, we'll continue the portal convo with Chris Marler, a guy from LouisianaSports.net. Covers the SEC for us. Which programs have been impacted most, positive, negative? How are the playoff think about that. You had 3 SEC teams preparing for the college football playoff while this portal whirlwind is going on. We'll get to all that here in about 10 minutes with Marler. Darren Rizzi met with reporters on Monday to give an update on Derek Carr and also Alvin Kamara, most significantly. First, he was asked if it's possible we'll see Derek Carr again this season.
At this point, I would say he would get a chance to play at some point before the season's over. I don't think that's a reach. At the same time, his like any injury, it's improving. He's just not there quite yet.
So I think the most interesting part of this is if Derek Carr is able to play, what's holding him back? Obviously, he's still got a clear concussion protocol, but then he's got the hand injury, which was reported to be a hand fracture, and how much that may impact him if he's not able to go. First, this was the update. Is it the hand or the concussion that's keeping him out right now?
Well, it's a little bit of a unique equation because the final step of the concussion protocol is a little bit of a formality in that anybody in the concussion protocol has to have a quote unquote practice, and so we didn't feel comfortable having Derek out there in a practice scenario. He just wasn't quite ready for that. And so by the letter of the law, he's still in the, he's got to complete that protocol. So the first time he practices, the expectation would be that he would clear the concussion protocol. So that's really not in my opinion, not the limiting factor at the moment.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. So we'll see if Derek Carr can get ready. If I'm being completely honest, I don't want to see Derek Carr for the rest of the year. And it's not a knock on Carr. It's just the thing that I've always said about Derek Carr is I know what Derek Carr is. He is a lower, mid-tier, upper, bottom-tier starting quarterback in the NFL. And that's not going to change with a game against Green Bay on Monday Night Football. What I need to know is if Spencer Rattler can actually be a starting quarterback in the NFL. He's 0-3 as a starter, but he's had some good moments. And the thing that you hope to see, not just with quarterbacks, but with any player, is the more they play, the better they get. My goodness, look at Trevor Penning. He was injured, didn't play the bulk of his rookie year, came back late, was kind of just like a tackle eligible. You tried to make him a left tackle last year, disaster. We're thinking you wasted a pick. He's a total bust. New offense, move him to the right side. I'm not telling you that he's going to the Hall of Fame. What I'm telling you is I'm more confident today that Trevor Penning can at least be a competent starter in the NFL than I was the day the season started. Is that fair? Like, could we all agree to that? That Penning is, you're at least feeling better about the possibility of him being a starter and not just a cut him, he's a bust, never going to do anything. Well, it's time. And it happens differently at a different rate with every player. Certainly true at quarterback as well. I keep using the Bryce Young example. Bryce Young was panned last year. He was benched this year. The convo at the trade deadline is, should Carolina trade him and move on? They've kept him. They've kept developing him. And over the last month, it looks like he's figuring it out. I mean, again, they're not starting to put together his bust for Canton, but you feel better if you're in Carolina about Bryce Young today than you did a month ago. And so that's what I need to figure out about Spencer Rattler. I don't care what he looked like in those 3 games as the starter. I mean, I care, but I also understand, like, what was your expectation behind a makeshift offensive line without your best weapons? Okay, well, now you got your offensive line back. Like, it ain't gonna be easy. They're going to lose. I don't care who plays quarterback. They're losing to Green Bay on Monday Night Football. It's going to be freezing. You're at Lambeau, Monday Night Football, capacity crowd, prime time. Like, that's going to be terrible. But can Rattler go function and move the offense and maybe give you some belief that they can move a little bit? Let me see what that looks like. I'm way more interested in that than I am in watching one-handed Derek Carr go play in the cold at Lambeau. So Rizzy was asked for a plan. What is the plan at quarterback right now?
You know, I think, John, with the situation with the way Derek is right now, that really is the reason we would take it day to day right now, week to week. We do get the extra day this week because of the Monday night game. So we'll wait and see what's going on with Derek's situation first and then kind of go from there. So, yeah, there's really no reason to declare anybody a starter at the moment. Naturally, if Derek can get through the injury, situation and get out there and start practicing and at a regular pace, then that'll certainly factor in. But if you can't, then obviously we'll have to have, plan B.
The other thing worth keeping an eye on this week is Alvin Kamara. Just 12 yards rushing. I mean, just a really disappointing day against Washington. 5 carries, 12 yards, had the groin injury. But he did have one of the most incredible touchdown receptions you'll ever see on the pass from Cedric Wilson, where he made the one-handed catch going into the corner of the end zone, which is amazing. But I sure hope for Kamara it's not the end of his season, because he's 50 yards away from 1,000. Kamara's sitting on 950 rush yards. He's never had a 1,000-yard rushing season. And he has been a bell cow for you this season when you've needed him. It was nice to see Kendre Miller on Sunday average over 5 yards a carry. That's certainly one of the bright spots, watching Miller run hard. And Miller's long was only 17 yards. So it's not like he averaged 5 because there was a one-off. 9 carries, 46 yards, averaged 5.1 per carry, and the long was 17. So Miller had a nice day running the football, but you want to see Kamara back. But soft tissue injuries, and we saw the groin keep Eric McCoy out for half the year. Here was the update from Darren Rizzi on Kamara's groin.
We got some imaging back. He's kind of dealing with a little bit of a groin adductor type of situation. It's something that it was very, very minor. I think he kind of felt it on that diving touchdown catch, which was outstanding, by the way. And so he's going to get a couple of more opinions, a couple more imaging things taken care of today. So we'll kind of see where he's at the moment. We kind of have the first set of images, and we're going to kind of see what happens here with the second set, second opinion, all that kind of thing.
A little bit of a bummer, man, to see that go down that way. But we'll hope Kamara can get back before the end of the season, get those 50 yards, get over 1,000 for the first time in his career. You're looking for small victories at this point in what is otherwise a lost season with the Saints at 5-9, having fired their coach. But Kamara getting to 1,000 would be awesome to see. I'd love to see it. We'll hope he can get back. All right, it's After Further Review. We're glad you're with us. We're brought to you by DraftKings. Y'all, it is the most wonderful time of year for getting in on all the hoops, football, and hockey action at the DraftKings Sportsbook. In the season of giving, we are all being gifted college football, college basketball, pro football, pro basketball, pro hockey too. Sound the horn, Kalechi! Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use the code Baton Rouge, one word, Baton Rouge. That's code Baton Rouge for new customers to get $150 in bonus bets if your bet wins when you bet just $5. Happy holidays from DraftKings. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER, 1-800-426-2537. 21 plus, physically present in Louisiana. Select parishes only. Eligibility restrictions apply. Bet must win to receive reward. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/audio. Licensee partner, Golden Nugget, Lake Charles. Okay, y'all, it's After Further Review. We'll knock out a break. We'll talk transfer portal, how it's impacting the SEC as a whole. Chris Marler, our SEC writer for LouisianaSports.net, joins us next.
After Further Review.
New year, more efficient business, you need Glow Resources. GLO, glowresources.com, glowresources.com. At Glow Resources, they are complete employer solutions. And at Glow Resources, they also have a 96% success rate. I tell you that statistic often because I want it to really sink in. 96%. This is a company that over the course of the year does some 50,000 interviews. They place thousands of people in jobs and 96% success rate. And by the way, if for whatever reason their hire doesn't work out for your business, they'll give you a prorated refund or they'll find a replacement for free. What have you have to lose? It's Glow Resources. GLO, glowresources.com.
The best kept secret in town is out. Discover Tallulah at the Renaissance Hotel on Bluebonnet.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
The Windsor Senior Living Community in Mandeville, Louisiana is a beautiful, vibrant apartment community geared toward seniors. They are nestled right in the heart of Mandeville, where seniors live a more carefree lifestyle in spacious apartments with the peace of mind that comes from having a little extra help. Call the Windsor at 985-624-8040 to schedule a lunch and tour. Come see how the Windsor can be your passport to peace of mind.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. For years, you've heard me tell you about Insurance Network of Louisiana, helping you find better coverage for less money. But it's not just for your home and auto. They also offer commercial property. So, retail stores, professional offices like doctors, dentists, attorneys, clothing boutiques. Insurance Network of Louisiana can find you better coverage for less money. They service the entire state of Louisiana, and they're local. So call today at 293-0450 or lainsurance.net.
Looking for the ultimate game day experience? Come to the Queen Casino in Baton Rouge. Savor game day platters and snacks, plus drink specials at 1717 Kitchen and Cocktail. So come out for game day and let our team make you the MVP. The Queen Casino, where every moment is a win.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood Subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends for 50 years of success.
And looking forward to 50 more.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-26.
After further review, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding, and oh yeah, they also do interior shutters.
We spent so much time talking about what LSU has done, being very aggressive in the transfer portal. As they say, keep your friends close, your enemies closer. What about the rest of the SEC? Chris Marler, LouisianaSports.net, our SEC writer, covers all this stuff all across the league, joins us here for a couple of minutes. How are you, dude?
I'm good. I was a little bit concerned because I thought I was the enemy you were speaking of, but that turned out not to be true. So that's good. That's good.
Well, if when we see you this week, you look like you do in the photo Paul has pulled up here, then that's an automatic disqualification. We will go to blows. Like you have to. What is this photo that he's using? Paul, where did you get that picture? I mean, Marler, this is no offense to you, but this is not a good photo of you.
I can't even see it.
I know
What's going on?
No, I know you can't. It's
I think that's from a few years ago when he was at SEC Media Days. I don't remember what year it was.
Is it the one that Feinbaum uses where I look like I'm being surprised when he took the picture?
Probably. I don't know. I don't know which one Feinbaum uses, but you have slicked black hair, very thick black glasses, squinting a little bit, and it's also crooked. Like your head's at a 45-degree angle.
Yeah, it's like a bearded Rachel Maddow type thing.
I don't know who that is.
Oh, come on. You've got to start watching TV, dude.
Do you want to compare our lives side by side?
No,
and you can tell me who should do what? Is that
Absolutely not.
Yeah, I didn't think so.
Absolutely not.
Okay, let's just talk about football because this is something I know that you follow, even if you don't know it well. How about this? We've been focusing so much on LSU. Who else in the league has been most impacted by the portal? Let's talk about from a negative standpoint. Like what fan base right now? What program is feeling it the most negatively?
I mean, it's Arkansas, and it's really not particularly close because I think that Sam Pittman being like if you want to say granted or gifted, either way, I think a lot of fans wouldn't say warranted another year as the head coach there. I was surprised because I think like Pittman is so likable to everyone apparently outside of Fayetteville, and I think that him coming back another year, you just thought there'd be a little bit more stability going into this upcoming season. I mean, last year I was shocked when KJ Jefferson left, and I don't think that was necessarily the best decision he could have made based off the fact that, we saw what happened with him at UCF, and I think he's in the portal again, for his last year of eligibility. But, we keep track of this like every Sunday or so, and it's a constant moving thing with the portal and how crazy this like fire hose of information is that comes out of it. But as of yesterday, right, I know you love when I use dates. As of yesterday, it was 27 players. 27 players that had already entered the portal. And, you're talking about, I know they're going to move up to 105 players this year. The role of a walk-on is going to be diminished. But that's about a quarter, or over a quarter of your entire roster. And it's not even just that you're losing so many players so quickly, right? Like, because we've seen people over the course of a year, teams like A&M or Bama last year after Saban retired, we've seen them, lose 38, 40 players. But 27 in a week, I mean, it was 21 by the end of day one. It's just an insane amount of players.
That doesn't even count graduates and early entries to the draft. So it may be closer to half the roster. Do you think Bobby Petrino, who passed on the Charlotte job to stay at Arkansas, I don't know if you've had any conversations with people there. Do you think it's setting up for him to replace Pittman after next season?
I don't necessarily think that, strictly because everything that has been like muttered about Petrino in that arena is he wants no part of NIL. And I think you're seeing that as a growing trend with a lot of coaches around the country. You look at Dave Clawson step down today, and you've seen some other coaches like from last year to this year take a step back and be, like Chip Kelly, which I don't know the same reasons, but, going from the role of the head coach to offensive coordinator like willingly, I think you're going to see more. Yeah, also fair. Like, I think you're going to see a lot more of those. I don't know if that's the case with Petrino. Like because it just strikes you as the type of guy that has at least the ego that he wants to be the head man in charge. But maybe that's also changed because we're in a new, a new era of college football that he might not want to be familiar with.
Who do you think on the flip side of it? I don't want to spend the whole segment talking about Arkansas because I don't think anybody really cares. Who do you think has maybe benefited most? Either fewest significant departures, best additions, that sort of thing.
I think Georgia's one you look at because they've only lost 4 players. They have consistently lost the fewest amount of players, it seems like year over year. I think the other one that's so surprising is Ole Miss because it kind of felt like they went all in last year. I kind of compared Ole Miss and Miami to teams that were Major League Baseball teams after the All-Star break that were, going into the trade deadline thinking they could make a run. And they were all in for that year. So they were making all these trades, and in their case, they were making a bunch of portal moves, signing a bunch of players to very lucrative contracts, right? And now you don't know how many of those guys are going to be returning for next year, but they have once again gone into the portal and figured out ways to still either get creative with money. I don't want to say like make too big of promises, but they've also got a lot to replace. So they have gone in, I think, in the first week. I want to say they have like a top 3 class as of right now, and Lane Kiffin is like the self-proclaimed portal king. They've done a good job. I tell you, the other one I think that has really gone unnoticed, and you want to talk about like a team that has gotten so much value out of the people they have gotten in the portal, and that's South Carolina. Like South Carolina going out last year and getting a guy like Kyle Kennard, a guy like Rocket Sanders.
Yeah.
They were able to get into the portal and get 2 offensive linemen with a combined like 89 career starts. Like that kind of stuff. They're going to have to find a way to replace it. But Beamer so far, in the limited time and sample size we've seen, he's hit on most of the guys he's gotten.
You mentioned Georgia. I think that's an interesting part of this conversation too, because the 3 SEC teams that are preparing for the playoff are all managing this as well. Guys entering the portal. I mean, Tennessee's had double-digit guys enter the portal, so you've got to be recruiting as well. How do you look at those 3 teams, Georgia, Texas, Tennessee, and how they seem to be managing that right now?
Yeah, it's kind of expected. I think those 3 teams are in the bottom 4 as of yesterday with the numbers of players lost. And I think Georgia has 4. Tennessee and Texas, I both think, have like 10 or 8 or 10 or something like that. And that's about kind of what you'd expect because there's still a lot to play for. But yeah, that is every time you see a player. I think Penn State was a team today that had a backup quarterback announce he was leaving. Like you've seen it at a couple different places around the SEC. Where it's like Julian Humphreys, a guy that played in 10 games. He's already committed to Texas A&M. That's a guy that was a starter for a majority of the season for Georgia. That part for me is it's hard to really understand and figuring out a way to manage it. I think that when you're a guy like Kirby and you're at a place like Georgia, you still do have this kind of like aura about you where it's like if you want to come like what Bob Stoops used to always say, you can either like play with us or you can get beat by us. And I think that's kind of what Kirby is kind of running with right now with his whole operation over there in Athens.
Chris Marler's with us, LouisianaSports.net is our SEC writer. You get him on Twitter, X at Vern Dumbquist, DUMBQUIST. I like to play on words. I do love puns, even though that's like your 4th account because you keep losing them. But either way, so go follow Vern Dumbquist on Twitter. Hey, I have the graphic pulled up right now of the total number of players in the portal from each SEC school. What outside of Arkansas at 27? Other than that, what stands out on the list to you when you look at it?
So Auburn is in this constant state of, one step forward, one step back. It kind of feels there's a lot of momentum there with like what they're trying to do. They've lost about 13 or 14 guys. The other thing though is that like they've been able to bring in some people. I just am. It's about time that all of us collectively sit here and say, like, hey, is Hugh Freeze really this, like, quarterback guru? Like, is he really, like, this, like, QB whisperer that, like, knows how to develop talent? Because you're looking at that roster now, Matt, and you're talking about Walker White's gone, right? You're bringing in Deuce Knight. You brought in Jackson Arnold, who we saw Jackson Arnold. Like, we all saw Jackson Arnold for an extended period of time as a starter. And it didn't feel like he was, a top tier or even top half of the SEC quarterback. Now, it was year 1 for him.
Sure.
But you got about him. They get the kid from Stanford. So I thought that was incredible. They were able to go out and get him and provide depth. But you've got 3 guys in that QB room right now. And then I think one kid's like a walk-on from Mountain Brook. He has been able to pitch that program, and they are still behind Hugh in terms of giving him funds and allocating those funds, all that kind of stuff. But at some point, man, you cannot keep going down this road where it's like, hey, you've had 4 straight losing seasons. You have not had any sort of level of production at quarterback. You've had, like, Auburn's had 2 3,000-yard passers in their history. Bo Wallace was a back-to-back 3,000-yard passer at Ole Miss.
Yeah.
Like, there's just a lot more negative, I feel like, that he has to overcome and kind of prove his worth there.
Kind of sounds like what LSU was for a long time.
Yeah.
I mean, Rohan Davey became LSU's first 3,000-yard passer. You didn't have another until Mettenberger, and now it happens every year. So it's almost like you just have to make a commitment to deciding that's what you're going to do.
Right.
Individual, last thing, is there an individual player maybe that surprised you that they jumped in the portal from the league, or maybe a great individual player that you think will have the biggest impact so far? Like Walter Nolan last year going to Ole Miss was massive. Is there someone like that so far in the portal and league that strikes you?
You gave me the questions beforehand, so it's like I could have been prepared for this. Just great job on my end. I think there's no one that's like Walter Nolan. There's no one that's Walter Nolan. I will say that part. Like, I don't think that is going to be the case. The easiest one to point out is Barry and Brown. Like Barry and Brown coming in from a year where like I don't know what happens to Kentucky quarterbacks in the portal. Like, Levis was fine, but that is a position unit. This is not a made up stat or embellishment or exaggeration. The quarterback in Kentucky the starter has been last in the SEC in interceptions thrown for, I think, like each of the last 4 years or 3 of the last 4 years amongst starters. It just happens whoever they bring in. I don't know if they're going to go out and get like Malik Murphy, but I do know the fact that them losing Dane Key and Barry and Brown are huge in terms of like production you have to replace. I just think with Nuss coming in, I think the other big surprise maybe Michael Van Buren going to basically sit there and be his backup, because that's a kid that I thought like had tremendous upside, especially in Levy's offense. And now he's going to go sit and gain a year of experience in a great system behind a quarterback that could be a first-round pick. And there's always going to be weapons at LSU. Like, there's always going to be offensive weapons at LSU no matter what. I think that Barry and Brown could have a huge, huge year next year.
We'll see if they land Nick Anderson as well. That's one that's kind of being whispered about, that the Tigers may land Nick Anderson. Man, they've done work so far on the portal. It's such an interesting time of year. All right, man, we appreciate it. Chris Marler, LouisianaSports.net. Go read his stuff there. Covers the SEC for us. Get him on Twitter, X, @VernDumbQuist. Make sure you follow him there. Thanks, dude. We'll see you.
Sounds good, brother.
All right, man. Be well. It's after further review. We'll knock out a quick break. And you still have Tigers and the Pros next on AFR.
AFR.
We're brought to you by Duplessis Builders, DuplessisBuilders.net. That's the website. Hey, look, you can go to the website or you can go to the showroom. The Duplessis Builders showroom is right there on Airline Highway in Gonzales. If you're going south on Airline, it's on the right, actually at the corner of Airline and Duplessis Lane, right next to the new Rouse's there on Airline in Gonzales. And very pleased to announce last week that Duplessis did an NIL deal with Jacob Myers. Jacob Myers from Sanoma, who started his baseball career at Nichols, incredible strikeout pitcher, transferred. He's joining the Tigers this year, and he'll be repping Duplessis Builders, DuplessisBuilders.net, DuplessisBuilders.net. They'll build you a beautiful pool that will last. That's why they offer you a 10-year workmanship warranty when the industry standard is 1 year. Of course, you're supporting a great company that supports the Tigers. It's DuplessisBuilders.net. Go check out all the different features and what they offer. DuplessisBuilders.net.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. Breck. your #1 park system in the nation.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
Looking for the ultimate game day experience? Come to the Queen Casino in Baton Rouge. Wall-to-wall TVs mean you'll see every touchdown in HD. Place your bets and feel the thrill of every play.
After further review, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding, and oh yeah, they also do interior shutters.
All right, wrapping up hour number 2. We're glad you're with us here. Otter Locks are already live and posted over at LouisianaSports.net. A couple of basketball plays and a play on Monday Night Football. You can get Otter Locks right now at LouisianaSports.net. Always, always free, LouisianaSports.net. Muso. Tigers in the pros.
Tigers in the pros. They still bleed purple and gold. They're just really rich now.
Huge day in the NFL yesterday for the former Tigers, now in the pros. We'll start down in Jacksonville. Brian Thomas Jr., just an incredible afternoon for the Jags. 10 receptions, 105 yards, 2 touchdowns, long of 41. He set the record for most receiving touchdowns by a rookie in Jags history in that ball game. Wore some pretty filthy throwback uniforms as well. They should really just go back to those permanently. Should the Jags, but they won't, so we'll keep you updated on that too, I guess. In the Superdome, Jaden Daniels, 226 yards passing, 2 touchdowns, did add 66 yards rushing as well. No turnovers for Jaden Daniels in the game. Was sacked 8 times, as we mentioned earlier. And then Foster Moreau turned in a really, really solid day. 4 receptions, 39 yards. Everybody's obviously going to remember the touchdown right at the gun there. Saints couldn't get it done with the 2-point conversion, but a really solid day for Foster where he is...
yes. Foster Moreau.
Moreau, correct.
Yes.
Yes. Not Moreau is what you're... Yeah. Joe Burrow. Bit of a mixed bag.
You mean Joe Burrow?
No.
Oh, you mean Joe Burrow?
Joe Burrow.
Like Foster Moreau.
Correct.
Not Joe Burrow?
Not Joe Burrow.
So it's not Burrow, it's not Moreau,
it's Burrow.
Burrow.
Moreau.
And Moreau. Got it.
Absolutely. 271 for Burrow. 3 touchdowns, did have the 2 interceptions. But the Bengals did get a nice win over the Tennessee Titans. 94 yards receiving for Jamar Chase. Derek Stingley Jr. Woo! Oh, man. 5 stops, 2 TFLs, 2 interceptions, and the one on Tyreek Hill was just absolutely filthy. 50-50 ball on the far sideline, and Derek Stingley ripped it out of Tyreek Hill's hands. Like, it was almost reminiscent of Eric Reed in Tuscaloosa in the game of the century. That's what it reminded me of immediately when I saw it.
They let him go get healthy, bro.
Yeah. I mean, a filthy play. Now, top 5 in the league in interceptions is Derek Stingley Jr. Danielle Hunter.
He had 2 yesterday.
Oh, yeah. 2 of them. Danielle Hunter, sack and a half to go along with 4 tackles. He's now number 2 in the NFL in sacks. And then one more here that I wanted to get to. Malik Neighbors, 10 for 82 and a score One transaction, the Chiefs have waived Clyde. Get it out, man, for sure. Clyde actually broke the news himself, posting the goodbye on social media, thanking the city of Kansas City for everything they've done, all the love and support he mentioned having in troubling times. It will be forever be unmatched. Nothing but love and support, nothing but love. Former first-round pick did win two Super Bowls with the Kansas City Chiefs. We'll see where he lands next. That's Tigers in the Pros.
We're presented by Shawbills. Saturday, Erica went to go run some errands. Honest goodness, true story. Saturday, Erica went to go run some errands. She hadn't been gone for 10 minutes. I called her because I needed her to pick something up for me. And she goes, I was dreading calling you because I'm in the parking lot at the UPS store and I have a flat tire. She ran over a curb because, that's what she does. I love her. I don't love that part of her, meaning the driving part of her. Because the driving part of her costs us money all the time. But great news is we have Shawbills. So went over to the UPS store, threw the donut on it, brought it by Shawbills, got that thing ship shape, back ready to go. So if it's a tire repair, if you need to replace your tires, maybe they're threadbare and it's time for new tires, you need Shawbills. I'll sell you name brand tires at wholesale prices. They'll treat you like family. So go to ShawBillsTire.com to find the location nearest you. ShawBillsTire.com. ShawBillsTire.com. Shawbills, where we keep you rolling when your wife hits curbs and you need new tires. All right, Sports Center's coming up. Get your portal roundup. Brandon Olsen will join us as well from Locked On Gators. Glad you're here. It's AFR.
AFR.
We're brought to you by South Point Volkswagen and SouthPointVW.com. Not only are we moving toward the end of the month, we're moving toward the end of the year. So before the year expires, you need to buy that new vehicle or that certified pre-owned vehicle. You need to go to South Point Volkswagen. Airline just north of Highland or SouthPointVW.com, 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 SouthPointVW.com. The average car buyer visits one dealership before making their purchase. It used to be that you plan a Saturday and you go all the different dealerships and you haggle with prices. I just don't do that anymore. Everybody shops online. They find the vehicle they want. They even work out financing online, and then they go pick up the vehicle. You can do that at SouthPointVW.com. It's all available for you right there. You see the whole inventory, new, certified, pre-owned, but go in because they're awesome people as well. Airline just north of Highland or SouthPointVW.com. South Point Volkswagen, what's your direction?
At Ochsner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Ochsner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one. You. Ochsner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
Got chores that need some extra muscle, but a large piece of equipment is overkill? That's what John Deere compact utility tractors were made for. Powerful enough for the work you need to do. Compact enough for how you need to do it. Find the equipment that's right for you at Sunshine Quality Solutions. Check out our current promotions and learn more about what it means to be powered by sunshine at sunequip.com.
Looking for the ultimate game day experience? Come to the Queen Casino in Baton Rouge. Wall-to-wall TVs mean you'll see every touchdown in HD. Place your bets and feel the thrill of every play with our DraftKings Sportsbook. The Queen Casino, where every moment is a win.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. Breck, your #1 park system in the nation.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. The injury-ravaged Lions with 3 more injuries to deal with. Running back David Montgomery sprained MCL, and starting defensive tackle Aleem McNeil torn ACL, both out for the season. Starting quarterback Carlton Davis III will undergo surgery on a fractured jaw and be out indefinitely. The Lions have more than a dozen defensive players on injured reserve. Testing done today revealed Chiefs quarterback Patrick Mahomes has a high ankle sprain. Will be evaluated throughout the week to see if he has a chance to play against the Texans at home Saturday. Kansas City then plays in Pittsburgh Christmas Day before closing out the season at Denver. And there's one big question for the Chiefs when it comes to Mahomes' playing status, says our Harry Douglas.
Is the #1 seed worth my franchise quarterback in the standard of the NFL being hurt and potentially not being full strength heading into the playoffs?
KC leads Buffalo by 2 games for the 1 seed in the AFC. Sacramento State's in discussions to hire former NFL quarterback Michael Vick as its new head coach, reports ESPN's Adam Schefter. He was also interviewing for the Norfolk State job.
ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. Progressive offers a great price and round-the-clock protection when bundling home and auto. It's one of those rare times where you could save money and get something great. Bundle today at Progressive.com.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio.
Let's ride!
Hour 3, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. It's AFR, presented by Relief Windows. I'm Matt.
You're a loser, Matt!
Hey, shut up, kid. Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
Yes, sir. And Mr. Toby Tom Plate. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. 5 o'clock quitting time. Glad you are driving home with us. We'll chat with Brandon Olsen, Locked On Gators, coming up here in about 13 minutes from right now. LSU has landed 2 portal transfers from Florida. Jakeem Jackson, the cornerback, who, on signing day, Jakeem Jackson went into the portal, and it was just immediately reported that he was going to be an LSU target and likely to land at LSU, and ultimately he did. Signed with Corey Raymond at Florida. Now he's going to play for Raymond again at LSU. And Jack Pyburn was visiting LSU on Sunday, and today, Monday, made the announcement that he is signing with LSU as a transfer. Pyburn's a 6'3", 265-pound, played outside linebacker at Florida. So they have sort of like the jack linebacker spot, so it's a little different as far as stylistically, but a really good run stuffer, not as much an edge rusher. But I got a text on the text line asking about here it was Jason Horn who said, Matt, is this the kid that wanted to play every third down and 85% of the snaps on defense? So, yes, there was a report floating around that Jack Pyburn had made certain demands. Our buddy Zach Abelverdi had reported that Pyburn had financial demands, at least $45,000 a month, wanted to make sure he was on the field on third down, and so on, wanted to be guaranteed a starting spot. Pyburn's dad went onto Facebook and actually was replying to people in comments, some of this stuff. It's what a time. But anyway, so Brandon Olsen, I was kind of texting with him earlier today, trying to get some more information about these two players. And I said, just come on the show. Why don't you just come on the show? You tell us all about them. So we'll find out about two of LSU's transfers coming up here in about 10 minutes from right now. A couple of other questions that I wanted to get to. One was from Mark Lacey, shout out, who said, as much as the game itself doesn't matter, preparation does. What does Baylor's team look like following the portal exits? Well, to the first point of that, Mark, I'm not super interested in what Baylor looks like because I'm not super interested in the outcome of the game. I mean, of course, I want LSU to win it. If LSU loses the bowl game, I'm not going to be devastated. Baylor's had 8 players enter the portal. The most significant name so far that's entered the portal is one of their quarterbacks, DeQuan Finn. DeQuan Finn is he's one of these COVID super seniors that's going to play a 7th year next year. Kind of like, was Cam Ward a 7th year this year? Or was he 6th year? I can't remember if Ward played the 7th. It doesn't matter. Anyway, the point is, Finn's a guy that had the COVID year, had injury seasons, medical red shirt. He's going to play a 7th year next year. He went to Baylor this year. He got beaten out by Sawyer Robertson, who will start the bowl game. But DeQuan Finn going in the portal is probably the most notable. Just 8 Baylor players in the portal so far. And then one more that I was asked was, this is Eric Brown, who said, Matt, are these legitimate fill-ins that LSU's got, or at least backups? He said, average fan here, I don't know who these guys are. That's okay. So I did start the show, and I kind of gave you a portal roundup. So we have that posted on demand. I would recommend you go check that out. Podcast or YouTube, just search AFR LSU. So on podcast or YouTube, if you want all of our LSU content, just search AFR LSU. Podcast or YouTube, if you want just our Saints content, search AFR Saints. You get it right there, podcast or YouTube. Or you can, of course, get the whole show. Podcast or YouTube, just search After Further Review. But these are all impact guys. So just for context, a year ago, LSU's highest rated portal acquisition was CJ Daniels, who was ranked number 101 by On3. And any position, all overall players, portal ranking, CJ Daniels was number 101 overall. He was the highest ranked portal addition. Jordan Gilbert was 146. AJ Swan was 256. Those were the 3 highest ranked LSU portal additions a year ago. By contrast, Berrien Brown from Kentucky is number 14. Braylon Moore, the center from Virginia Tech, who is not yet publicly committed, but it's expected he will, is number 34. Jakeem Jackson is number 73. Van Buren, the quarterback from Mississippi State, is number 91. Mansour Delane, the cornerback from Virginia Tech, who LSU got today, is 115. Jack Pyburn's 116. Bauer Sharp, the tight end, is number 122. And Jamari Butler's number 146. They're all of them are inside of the top 150. And you've got 4 in the top 100, when last year you didn't have any in the top 100. And Nick Anderson is projected to land at LSU as well, who's number 11 overall, the wide receiver who was incredible at Oklahoma a year ago, didn't play this season. So, yes, these are absolutely impact guys. It all underscores the thing we talked about here just under 2 weeks ago when everyone was melting over Bryce Underwood's flip and Jakeem Stewart going to USC and Cade Phillips going to Texas. The thing I told you then is, okay, they made the decision not to overspend on high school players. They had a number. They capped it. What was the phrase I used? They were fiscally responsible. Yes, you would have loved to add Cade Phillips, but you had your number. Texas went over it, and you said, we're not going there. I'd rather take that money and go get Jakeem Jackson. Go get a guy that was the number 3 overall corner in the country, was starting at Florida this year, that Corey Raymond's bullish on. And I'd rather get that guy. I'd rather go get Mansour Delane from Virginia Tech, who was a true freshman All-American back in 2022 and has started at Virginia Tech for these last 2 seasons. Yeah, I'd rather that guy than overspend for a freshman who may not impact my team year 1. I'd rather a 3rd and 4th year player that have been impact guys already at the Power 4 level than overspend on a freshman. That was effectively the decision they made. But you had to go get those guys. So it's why I told you, talk to me in a month. They got cash. This is their plan. They're not going to do what Ole Miss did and sign 30 guys. But what if they sign 10? They're not signing 13 or 30. What if they say that again? They're not signing 30 like Ole Miss. What if they sign 13 that are all super impact, immediate impact guys? As opposed to last year where you signed 9 and CJ Daniels was your 3rd leading receiver. And, you know, you had guys that played for you but weren't stars for you. Gio Paez was a starter, and he was a guy that gave you critical snaps, but he wasn't Walter Nolan. That's the difference from last year to this year. You're not just getting transfer bodies at positions of need. You're getting immediate impact guys at positions of need. All right, it's after further review. Glad you're with us. We're brought to you by Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. Gents, I don't know if you looked at the calendar. Christmas is in 9 days. Have you gotten her anything yet? Lee Michaels can help. Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. 9 locations in all, 2 in Baton Rouge. Corporate Boulevard right there in Bocage. And the Mall of Louisiana. New Orleans, Lafayette, Shreveport. You want to find the location nearest you or shop online, you can do so at Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. That's lmfj.com. lmfj.com. You go to the website, you can see some great Christmas ideas there. If you go to the website, you see the Christmas gift, the holiday gift, expert selected gift section right there scrolling on the homepage. And they have select gifts under $1,000 as well. So they have something for your budget over at Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. lmfj.com, lmfj.com. And, of course, if you are thinking of popping the question, go where all of Louisiana has gone to get engaged for more than 30 years. Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. lmfj.com. Thrill her with a gift in the red box from Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. All right, it's after further review. Glad you're hanging out with us here. If you missed it, Darren Rizzi did meet with reporters earlier today. Alvin Kamara, they did some imaging on his groin. They're unsure what his status will be. Maybe most significantly, can you play number 3, please, Darren Rizzi, from Monday, updating Derek Carr was asked if we'd see him again this year?
At this point, I would say he would get a chance to play at some point before the season's over. I don't think that's a reach. At the same time, his like any injury, it's improving. He's just not there quite yet.
Okay, so improving, not there yet. Saints do have an extra day this week as they'll play Monday Night Football at Green Bay. So it is a travel week, but you do have the extra day with it being Monday Night Football. But Rizzi's saying thinks that we'll see Derek Carr again at some point this year. You've got Green Bay, home against the Raiders, which, if we're being very honest, the target for Derek Carr is likely to play his former team in the Dome. And then you wrap up at Tampa. So we'll keep you posted. All right, let's knock out a break. We'll chat with our buddy Brandon Olsen, Locked On Gators, when we come back next. 2 of LSU's transfer additions, Jakeem Jackson, the cornerback, Jack Pyburn, the outside linebacker, from the Gators. We'll get the lowdown on those 2 guys from Brandon Olsen when we return. It's AFR.
AFR.
Y'all, it's not too late to call River City's 1 Hour Air and get that preseason heater safety check. Highly recommend it. Listen, the weather here is so schizophrenic. I mean, it's December the 16th. It's 77 degrees. But by the end of the week, we're going to be back in the 40s. So you're going to be cranking up that heater again. I remind you all the time. Look, you're going to be running that heater. You want to make sure 2 things are true. It's efficient and it's safe. That's why you get the heater safety check. An expertly trained technician from River City's 1 Hour Air will come to your house. They'll make sure your home heater is running efficiently. Of course, it'll lower your energy bills, but also extend the life of your unit. Think of it as standard maintenance, almost like an oil change for your vehicle. You want to get this done every single year to extend the life of your unit. But then also, they do the safety check to make sure it's safe to run during the cold weather months. You can go read the reviews. You can see the stories people have told of how this heater safety check saves lives. It's River City's 1 Hour Air, 752-0001.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs. Even in the case of an after-hours emergency, the light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. For years, you've heard me tell you about Insurance Network of Louisiana, helping you find better coverage for less money. But it's not just for your home and auto. They also offer commercial property. So, retail stores, professional offices like doctors, dentists, attorneys, clothing boutiques. Insurance Network of Louisiana can find you better coverage for less money. They service the entire state of Louisiana, and they're local. So call today at 293-0450 or lainsurance.net.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood Subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends for 50 years of success.
And looking forward to 50 more.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756.
After further review, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding, and oh yeah, they also do interior shutters.
Get to Otter Locks here in about 30 minutes. Jimmy's plays are already up over at LouisianaSports.net. We got a Monday Night Football play, a couple of college basketball plays. You know what to say, chalk early, dogs late. Might even be worth waiting, hint, hint. But you can check it out at LouisianaSports.net. All right, Tigers doing work in the portal. 7, as we sit right here right now, 7 portal either commitments or signees. 2 of them from Gainesville, which Keem Jackson, worst kept secret in the world, and then Jack Pyburn, the outside linebacker, the latest. Our buddy Brandon Olsen from Locked On Gator is good enough to join us for a couple of minutes to talk about the 2 newest Tigers. Brandon, we appreciate it, man. How are you?
I'd be a lot better if my teammates moved in the portal. That might be nice.
You know, maybe I'll ask you about what old Sunbelt Billy's got cooking down there in Gainesville. Let's start with the new Tigers, though. I want to start with Jakeem Jackson because that was sort of like the worst kept secret. Here the narrative is super highly rated guy, was injured, so he didn't really get to materialize at Florida, but people are pretty excited about him. What do you know about Jackson after his 2 years there in Gainesville?
I think that he's a great player, honestly. I know this year he only played in 2 games, got banged up, and that was the end of his season pretty much. But, I mean, the promise there is just insane. He was a very highly rated player coming out of high school, elite athlete. He was a blue-chip receiver until he moved to corner, and then he started taking next steps. So he's learning still how to play the position. Obviously, the relationship with Corey Raymond helps him out, but I think he's got potential to be tremendous. One of my favorite things about him was his confidence. We saw the Vanderbilt game in 2023. He got beat bad as a true freshman, came right back, and they went right back at him, and he came right back and answered the call in the red zone. It was a great possession for him. I think he's got potential to be a great corner in the SEC.
Do you think, not knowing LSU's roster, obviously, is he a plug-and-play guy, or do you wonder a little bit about having not played so much? Like, would he have been a starter game 1 for the Gators in 2025?
Likely. I would say likely. He was struggling a little bit with the change from Corey Raymond to Will Harris. A lot of guys changed their technique under Will Harris. Jakeem Jackson didn't so much. But again, he got hurt in game 2. So it's not like we have to see much of him this year, but I think that he would have been in 2025.
You know, one of the maybe the more interesting conversations has been around Jack Pyburn because of, I guess, some of the narrative surrounding his transfer. So before we get to that, just first of all, tell me about Jack Pyburn in his 3 years at Florida.
I am a firm believer that every defense needs a psycho. That's him. He's just you're gonna love him in press conferences. I mean, he had one this year. He's like, hey, you know what? Sometimes you're the hammer, sometimes you're the nail. I'm always going to be the hammer. Like everyone is always going to feel my pain more than I'm going to feel theirs. He's just a menace down there. Great run defender. Absolutely set the edge and really changed the defense. This Florida Gators run defense last year was horrendous. Jack Pyburn, of course, got hurt last season, tore his ACL against Arkansas. But he came back this year and was just a menace on rundown, specifically, not so much the pass rusher, of course, but tremendous run defender. And every defense needs a guy like that. And I definitely think that Florida's going to miss him next year, specifically in those situations. Obviously, things happened where he left, but I think that Jack Pyburn is just one hell of a run defender, tone setter defensively.
Does he have any maybe pass rush ability buried down in there that just needs to materialize, or is he just strictly a run defender?
I think he's strictly a run defender, personally. I think that there's a good reason he wasn't on the field on pass rushing downs and that he wasn't rushing the passer. But I think that people often overlook that. It's like you rotate so much on the defensive front. It's fine to have guys who fit that role. I don't think he's got much bend off the edge, and we really haven't seen much from him. If you look at the Florida State film, he had a nice little two-hand swipe that got his first career full sack for him. But outside of that, there's been very little shown on tape that he's going to be rushing the passer.
Okay. So the interesting part of this, which I alluded to, Brandon, is there was a report that Pyburn had certain demands. It was money, it was playing time, guaranteed starter, so on, staying on the field, third down, all that stuff. Well, Pyburn on his Instagram story posted a picture of looks like a private jet, and he has the caption, "I wanted to be the guaranteed starter. When I'm already the starter, makes sense, SMH." Okay, makes sense, Brandon, of this drama surrounding Pyburn and what you can tell us.
Never a dull moment, I can tell you that much. But, I understand him not appreciating being bashed because once those quote-unquote demands came out, whole fan base just turned on him there because, of course, they seem like insane demands. Yes, he was already the starter, but you're the starter this year doesn't mean that you would be guaranteed to be the starter next year. And so I think that's where there's kind of a miscommunication there. The money demands we heard as well. I'm a firm believer that a lot of the numbers ever reported are not super accurate when it comes to financials. And as for the pass rushing part, being on third downs, I mean, a pass rusher on third downs I understand it. I do respect it. Florida lost Princely Umanmielen after the 2023 season for the same reason, and he was pretty open about it with me. He said, hey, I want to rush the passer. That's what Ole Miss told me I would do, and so that's why I'm going there. And I understand it from Jack Pyburn's perspective. You know, guys get paid to rush the passer, and if you're in coverage, you're not rushing the passer. However, I do think that this is a Florida Gators defense that they're going to drop their edge rushers in coverage. It's not a Jack Pyburn specific thing. TJ Searcy dropped in coverage more than Jack Pyburn did. It's a common thing with this defense, so it's going to happen. And I just can't, defensively, from a coaching standpoint, I can't see guaranteeing a guy, hey, you're not going to be dropping in coverage just because that's an important part of the defensive scheme. So I feel like it might have just been one of those things where mutually the best decision is to part ways here.
Do you think that had more to do with skill set or fit? Meaning maybe I'm asking the same question, Brandon, but maybe Pyburn's skill set didn't fit in the defense?
Maybe. I think that he was very serviceable amongst the edge rushers in coverage. I don't think many of them were very good at it, and I've been very open about that. But I think Pyburn was pretty good at it. But you know, guys want to rush the passer. It's as simple as that. They want to rush the passer. He wasn't very good at that part of it. So I guess it was just a little bit of a disconnect there. But yeah, I just think that it just wasn't going to work out. If that's what he wants and Florida doesn't want to change their whole defensive system, I don't see how there would have been a different resolution.
Brandon Olsen's with us, Locked On Gators. Tigers getting 2 players from the Gators in this portal cycle. What about how Billy Napier and the Gators are doing so far? I think everyone sort of just focuses tunnel vision on what their school's doing right now. What have the rest of the defections been like so far as impact players lost for the Gators so far?
There haven't been many. Florida's done a much better job this year of retaining their talent than they did last year, where last year they lost Princely Umanmielen, they lost Trevor Etienne, they lost Chris McClellan. That didn't happen that much this year. Jakeem Jackson left, of course. Jack Pyburn, of course, left. But really, there weren't many players. We had starting right guard Damian George announced he was going to leave, and then he didn't. And so far, there's rumors, we'll say, about some depth guys considering the portal, but Florida's done a pretty good job of retaining their starters.
What about the flip side of it? How active have Billy Napier and his staff been in hunting in the portal?
They've been communicating with a lot of guys. They've had quite a few in visits. They've only landed one commitment, and it was Tommy Doman, punter from Michigan. But outside of that, they haven't landed anybody. And unfortunately, right now, they just landed in Tampa. And so they can't host any visits this week, which I think does put them at a slight disadvantage with how things have been moving in the portal. They've got some visits set up for the day that they get back from Tampa. But right now, they've been way more passive than I would be. I would tell you that much.
Florida against Tulane in the Gasparilla Bowl. Good feel on that game?
I feel like Florida has to win handedly. And it's not even to disrespect Tulane. I love Tulane, but it's just Florida has the overwhelming majority of their contributors in this game. And so I feel like that alone, with how they ended the season, they should win handedly, especially considering, Tulane lost quite a few guys to the portal.
Man, when you and I talked before the LSU-Florida game, I don't know that I've ever talked to someone who's like just so despondent about the current state of things. After the way they finished, Brandon, you got to be at least thinking arrows pointing up with us, Sunbelt Billy, or no?
I'm so torn. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm so torn. Because...
I mean, I'm not embellishing here. I mean, I believe I could go back and look at our text messages, and you said something to the effect of like, I'm not positive about anything related to Florida ever again, or something like that.
I'm still not super positive, even with how they ended, just because we've seen these hot stretches before, but we have never seen them put together a complete season. I mean, you look at 2023, and it's just the flip side. They started the season, the bad week 1 against Utah. But after that, they needed one win to get bowl eligible, and they ended on a 5-6 game losing streak.
Yeah.
They've just been so streaky, so consistently. And that's the annoying part. They're consistently inconsistent. And the way that things get handled sometimes just drive me up a wall. Austin Armstrong, co-DC, leaving to go be the defensive coordinator at Houston. So we're going to have more defensive coordinator turnover this year. I don't believe that Ron Roberts is going to be back, the other defensive coordinator. So Florida is going to be going through more defensive turnover, coaching staff turnover. It's just tough because it feels like there's never consistency, and that drives me nuts. And as much as I want to say, oh, they ended the year great, they'll carry that over. They've never carried over the results of the previous season to the next one. So I want to be optimistic, I do, but I'm also ready to be hurt again.
Whenever we were scheduling our Locked on LSU, Locked on Gators crossover episode, it's like 7 Central. You said, yeah, it's perfect. I said, great, looking forward to it. Brandon's reply, I am not looking forward to anything involving the Florida Gators for the remainder of the season.
Yeah,
and little did you know.
I know, my heart can't take it. My heart just can't take it anymore. These guys are going to kill me.
Maybe it'll be 2 former Gators killing you next year when they play in Baton Rouge with Jakeem Jackson and Jack Pyburn joining up with LSU. Brandon, we appreciate it, man. Thanks for the time.
Thank you so much.
All right, be well. Brandon Olsen from Locked on Gators. Go check out the pod wherever you get podcasts or on YouTube as well. All right, it's After Further Review. We're brought to you by the Williamson Eye Center, 924-2020, 924-2020, or WilliamsonEye.com, WilliamsonEye.com. Hey, a couple of reminders. If you have FSA money or money in your FSA account, that does not roll over. You can spend those funds on LASIK or refractive procedure. Also, if you're thinking that's something you would like to do for next year, LASIK or refractive procedure, you could start allocating funds in your FSA account for that. So something to consider. And remember, if you'd like to gift someone, maybe in your family, like this, Dr. Blake was telling me this. This happens. Amber, the marketing director, was telling me this as well. This happens a lot where people, maybe like family, will all pitch in and gift LASIK or PRK or EVO ICL or lens replacement to a family member. And then they'll gift them that so they can put together like a gift package type thing to present. Almost to Christmas, it's time. If you're doing that last minute shopping, you can certainly think I had AFR listeners ask me about that. Wanted to gift his wife LASIK for Christmas. So it's a great gift as well. Give someone the gift of sight. Williamson Eye Center, they do that every single day. 924-2020, 924-2020, or WilliamsonEye.com. All right, so if you're just joining us, missed it. LSU added 2 more additions via the portal on Monday so far. Mansour Delane, who's a cornerback from Virginia Tech, ranked the number 115 overall player in the portal. 3-year player, 2-year starter at Virginia Tech. And then Jack Pyburn earlier, the 6'3", 265-pound junior. He'll be played 29 games, be entering his 4th year in college. And you heard Brandon just say it there. I mean, he's kind of like the psycho defender, which everybody needs more of a run stuffer than a pass rusher, but we'll see what he may be able to do in Blake Baker's defense. But, man, Tigers doing work. Brian Kelly told you they were going to be aggressive in the portal. Actions speak louder than words. And my goodness, they are screaming right now with the additions they've had already. And Braylon Moore, the center from Virginia Tech, projected to land with LSU. We'll see if they get that one across the finish line. And a lot of projections for Nick Anderson as well, that dynamic wide receiver from Oklahoma, to land with the Tigers as well. So look, it's not done till it's done. If/when those happen, we'll certainly talk about it. All right, it's After Further Review. Let me knock out a quick break. We'll come back, give you a little thumbnail preview of Monday Night Football. I haven't talked yet about Travis Hunter winning the Heisman, so we'll get to that. Otter Locks in about 15 minutes. It's AFR.
AFR.
We're brought to you by Rouse's, the official supermarket of the New Orleans Saints. Rouse's.com. Rouse's.com. Hey, y'all, remember, for all of your Christmas or your holiday parties, get-togethers, at the office, at home, Rouse's Catering has got you covered. They've got jambalaya. They've got their red beans and rice. They've got their fettuccine Alfredo. Or if you want things like their boudin egg rolls, their mini muffalettas, the finger sandwiches, amazing options. Every time we do a show or remote over at Rouse's, their catering department there in the kitchen, they're always so kind and generous to whip up some of their catering platters for us. Muse knows what I'm talking about. What's your favorite?
Boudin egg roll.
Boudin egg rolls are so good. I knew that's where you were going. I do love a mini muffaletta, though. I could eat a gang of mini muffalettas.
Crawfish pies are really good, too.
The meat pies, that's right. They're so good. Anyway, go to Rouse's, Rouse's.com, Rouse's.com. You can download the Rouse's app or pop in and see them over there at any of the 70 Rouse's locations. Rouse's, this feels like home.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
The Windsor Senior Living Community in Mandeville, Louisiana is a beautiful, vibrant apartment community geared towards seniors. They are nestled right in the heart of Mandeville, where seniors live a more carefree lifestyle in spacious apartments with the peace of mind that comes from having a little extra help. Call the Windsor at 985-624-8040 to schedule a lunch and tour. Come see how the Windsor can be your passport to peace of mind.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps are held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered gold. Breck, your #1 park system in the nation.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs, even in the case of an after-hours emergency. The light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
After further review, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding, and oh yeah, they also do interior shutters.
I'll get to Otter Locks in about 10 minutes. Picks. Oh, by the way, so the picks are up at LouisianaSports.net, but one of the picks was South Alabama +6 on the hardwood tonight. It's up to 13.5. So something happened. Somebody is unavailable for that game. So anyway, so we'll get an explanation from Jimmy, see if he still wants us to be in on that place. We'll get to that here in just a smidge. Over the weekend, Travis Hunter won the Heisman Trophy. This was the announcement.
It is my honor to announce that the 2024 Heisman Award goes to Travis Hunter.
Well, it's not really a surprise because at this point in Heisman voting, we all know who the winner is by the time the award is announced. Close vote, Travis Hunter, Ashton Jeanty. The interesting thing afterwards, Jeanty said he felt like he should have taken home the award. I don't know, a little shade. He said, but congrats to Travis. I actually like that Travis Hunter won the award. I've sort of ignored the Heisman for a long time now. Look, I love it when an LSU guy wins it, of course, which might be a smidge hypocritical because I do think the award does carry a lot of cachet. Whenever you can attach Heisman winner, to your title, to your resume forever, that is forever. And for a long time, quite honestly, watching an LSU player win the Heisman was the only thing we never got to see. I mean, LSU had won championships and had All-Americans and first-round picks and everything. if you weren't around to see Dr. Cannon win the Heisman back in 1959, then you never got to see one until Joe Burrow, now Jaden Daniels. So there is sort of an aura and a mystique, and I was able to be there last year for Jaden's ceremony, which was awesome, man. It was a very cool thing to be a part of. Maybe I should clarify and say that the voting for the Heisman is the thing that's got me just a little, just not quite as enamored with the award. When I was a kid, I loved. I didn't watch the announcement on Saturday, but as a kid, I'd watch the Heisman every year. It was just I actually, to a point, would collect autographed pictures of Heisman winners. You buy them on eBay or whatever. Like, I had every Heisman winner from my entire lifetime, from Herschel Walker in 1982 all the way up, to the point when I stopped, which, and I don't even know who the last one I have was. It's not that important. But anyway, the point being, one of the reasons that I became very sort of disenchanted with the Heisman is because I think the voters are lazy. I think Heisman voters are subject largely to groupthink. I think they don't actually watch all of college football. And so you are sort of beholden to groupthink and highlight shows and what narratives are, and it's become a quarterback award. It very seldom truly is the best player in college football. It's just who's the quarterback on the best team. And so that's why you have years like where Darren McFadden, who was otherworldly on a mediocre Arkansas team, gets overlooked for Troy Smith, who went 2/3 of the season when he did really nothing. And then had 2006, had the big game, if you remember, number 1 Ohio State, number 2 Michigan, in that game of unbeatens. And Troy Smith had a great game on a big stage, and so he won the Heisman Trophy because he was a quarterback of the number 1 team in the country. That's why this year I thought Dylan Gabriel was ultimately going to win it. Because he's quarterback of an undefeated number 1 team in the country. And I think Dylan Gabriel had a great season. But I look at Travis Hunter and I go, what that guy did this year truly was incredible. In a world of specialization, where you have specialized pass rush situations and specialized defensive backs and specialized jumbo. Ole Miss had a package with a 300-pounder who would go into the shotgun and take a direct snap and run the ball with Pegues. And we see it in all sports. So when you have a guy that is the opposite of that, it's such a kind of a throwback in a sense, but it's incredible to see. And, it wasn't like a Charles Woodson situation where he was a good defensive back that would play offense sometimes. Travis Hunter was going both ways the whole game. Won the Biletnikoff as the best receiver, and he won a litany of defensive awards. The Lot Impact, the Bednarik. He's awesome. So, yeah, I'm happy that Travis Hunter won it. He was certainly deserving. I think he was the most outstanding player in the country this year, and it's good to see. Maybe we are moving away from just quarterback, best player, best team sort of thing. Jaden was bucked the trend a year ago as well. He was outstanding and worthy for all the reasons we talked about, but he was also the quarterback of a 3-loss team, and that should not have any way minimized what he did because he was magnificent. And so I'm glad to see it, man. Maybe the voters of the Heisman have turned that page. And are moving in a direction where they're considering more than just quarterback on the best team. So congrats to Travis Hunter on winning the Heisman Trophy. By the way, I wasn't watching the ceremony, but I did see on SportsCenter the next day that he thanked Lil Wayne. Here's Travis Hunter. Lil Wayne's sitting right there. It's Travis Hunter's, his parents, his fiance, Dion, Shadur, and then Lil Wayne's right there.
Wayne. You don't know how you came into our life, man. My fiance love you. I ain't learned none. I didn't know none of your songs until she let me know, because I don't listen to music. She let me know. She told me, you got to listen to this. If you don't listen to music, listen to Wayne. And from that day on, that's all I listen to. Pre-game music. That's the song. Those are the songs I listen to. When I get in that TRX and I blast that music, I'm listening to Wayne. It's crazy. 6 foot, 7 foot, 8 foot high. That's my song. I'm telling you, man, that junk's crazy. I respect you for coming out here, coming to support me, man.
Cool. It was cool to see Lil Wayne there. Cool moment with Travis Hunter and Dion as well. How about Coach Prime, man? When he got hired at Colorado, that was panned by a lot of people. And, you do this job, you talk for a living. There's a lot of stuff you get right. There's a lot of stuff you get wrong. And y'all know the stuff I get wrong because y'all point it out and laugh at me all the time. Sometimes, blind squirrel finds a nut. the Deion thing made sense, man, because if you watch him at Jackson State, look, Deion got the job at I said it this way when he got hired. Deion got the job at Jackson State because he was Deion Sanders. Deion got the job at Colorado because he could really coach. And not only could he really coach, he could really coach in this era. And a lot of people didn't like I'm bringing my luggage with me and it's Gucci, but look at what he did, man. He's brought the first Heisman Trophy winner to Colorado in 30 years. Got him to 9. I mean, went from a 1-win team 2 years ago to quadrupling that win total, go from 1 to 4 to 9 with a Heisman winner. Now, the job at Colorado is going to be dramatically different next year without Shedeur, without Travis Hunter. So can he sustain it? We'll see. But God deserves a lot of credit, man. He's brought Colorado to heights I don't think many thought that he would or could. So Travis Hunter wins the Heisman Trophy. Congrats to him. All right, it's after further review. We'll knock on our final break, come back, and wrap up the show with Otter Locks. 3 picks are up at LouisianaSports.net, but one of them was South Alabama +6. That lines up to 13.5. Do we still like it? We'll ask the Otter next.
After further review.
Get Gordon and get it done. Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys. You've been injured in an accident. It's not your fault. Do what injured people in our state have done for 30 years. Go to getgordon.com, getgordon.com, get Gordon and get it done. The annual bike giveaway has taken place, and it's always awesome to see. Gordon, members of the G team, giving away 488 bikes to less fortunate children around the state of Louisiana. Such an awesome thing to do around the holidays. And a lot of the G team athletes got involved as well, went out to help present the bikes to a lot of the kiddos. And to see the reaction is pretty awesome. They got a lot of stuff on social media if you want to go see pictures of the bike giveaway. Just go to @GetGordon on any of the social media. Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. It's all right there. So you can get on by and see some of the great work that Gordon and the G team continue to do. And obviously, Merry Christmas from Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys.
It's no secret. The best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. For years, you've heard me tell you about Insurance Network of Louisiana, helping you find better coverage for less money. But it's not just for your home and auto. They also offer commercial property. So, retail stores, professional offices like doctors, dentists, attorneys, clothing boutiques. Insurance Network of Louisiana can find you better coverage for less money. They service the entire state of Louisiana, and they're local. So call today at 293-0450 or lainsurance.net.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends for 50 years of success.
And looking forward to 50 more.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's
After further review, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding, and oh yeah, they also do interior shutters.
Down the stretch we come. Final segment here on a Monday edition of AFR, presented by Relief Windows. Shout out to Brandon and Adrian Holly, all of our friends over at Relief Windows. Wishing everybody Merry Christmas, a happy holidays. Of course, windows, door siding. Oh yeah, they do indoor shutters as well. They're the best. You want Relief Windows and reliefwindows.com. All right, time for Otter Locks.
Otter Locks.
All right, time to win some money.
Presented by Lofton Staffing Services. At Lofton, we put people to work. Call us today at 924-0200 or go to lofton.jobs.
I think it's safe to say that I won the bet.
Otter, how are you?
Good, Matt. How about you?
Man, I'm doing awesome. Excited about this week. Last full week here, rolling, getting closer to Christmas, man. It's a good time of year, man. Got bowl games and playoffs on Friday. My goodness, what a time. 2 Monday night football games tonight. God, I love this time.
Congratulations on the bourbon over at Calandro's.
Yeah, I got lucky and got my name was called for Jack Daniel's Coy Hill, which is amazing. Might be wheeling and dealing a little bit with Hanny for a bottle that he won. So
be
fingers
careful.
crossed, see if we work it out. Work out a deal.
Be careful fooling with that guy.
Well, man, he's got something I want, man. So I'm willing to make a deal, and he's got the upper hand in the deal as well. Just so you know.
I know. How about so I gave this San Francisco last week, and and I'm really good when you can surround yourself. Colucci went 3-0, and then Kenny White with his women's basketball gate-to-wire win on dog Notre Dame Thursday over UConn. So good to surround yourself with good people. I'm glad Musso's around. So anyway.
By the way, for those that missed it,
there you go,
Colucci.
There you go, Moose.
Colucci was 3-0 on his hockey picks on Thursday. Love to see Colucci rolling. Did I hear you say that Hanny parlayed them?
He did. Yeah, he did. He did. And Kenny White on our show from the Calandras that day put out an under in the in a hockey. So he parlayed all four of them at plus 1350. Yeah. So
Merry Christmas, Hanny.
Yeah, bourbon
Hanny!
and parlay. Oh, Hanny.
Very nice,
life
man.
Is good. Life is good.
All right, we got 2 Monday Night Football games tonight, and then I do want to ask you about one of the picks that you put at LouisianaSports.net with South Alabama plus 6. It's up to 13.5, so something happened there. But wherever you want.
All right, let's start with South Alabama and TCU. We're on with Paul Stone, and off the recording, we were talking about some college basketball, recapping the weekend, big weekend for the SEC again. But TCU had a major injury, and it's really not factored into this line. And so their line keeps creeping up. That's fine. And South Alabama has been somewhat competitive, but it's more on the angle of the injury for TCU. We were we like that there. Louisiana Tech's been very good. They got caught. Southern grabbed them. So the SWAC is on pace to have their highest conference RPI ever. They're actually being very competitive in some of the games. One of the games we discussed was Grambling and Southeastern, but both of those teams are improved this year. We laid off of that one. But we're going to we're taking Louisiana Tech. They did pull away at the end this past weekend and covered again. And now they take on Grand Canyon. Grand Canyon was in Athens, Georgia on Saturday night. Don't be misled by the final score. It was the score was much closer in the game. They trailed by double digits most of the way. Georgia's one of those improved teams of the SEC that really creates a depth and a strength of the conference. But we're going to take Louisiana Tech at home plus points against Grand Canyon. Of course, Grand Canyon made their run in a tournament last year, March Madness. But Tech is good. Tech was they did not get out athleted at Memphis. So we're going to take Tech at home. Plus the 3.5, and then on the
so wait,
football
I'm
tonight,
looking. I'm showing 2.5 right now. Do we still like it at 2.5, or do we want to buy half a point?
Yeah, 5 to 3.
5 to 3. Okay.
Yeah, we're getting to that point. So In the football tonight, I mean, look, Atlanta and the Raiders, two kind of lopsided matchups tonight. But Desmond Ridder does get a second chance at his old club. Yes, the Raiders have. It's a tough trend to back right now. I mean, some of the shops are getting killed on the public just baiting against the bad teams, against the Raiders, against the Jaguars, against the Titans, of course, in some the Giants. But I think that Ridder will play with a little purpose tonight. Cousins leads the league in interceptions. Give us one or two here tonight, and I think we can keep it close at +6. And then the Vikings game is hard. Man, they've got a chance now with Detroit, all of their injuries. Running back, defensive tackle, and defensive back all out for the year after yesterday. So they have a chance. They end the season in Detroit. But I'm going with more of the game. These divisional games scare me, laying points. So I'm going to parlay a same-game parlay. It's a small one. But Addison over 50 yards receiving. He can do that in one time with the attention that Jefferson gets. They've been firing to him downfield. And then Minnesota just winning the game. So Vikings to win the game, Addison over 50 yards, plus money, plus 110.
1 minute remaining.
All right. Where are you tomorrow, Otter?
We're at Mike Anderson Seafood, so on Lee, just off of Nicholson. Looking forward to it.
Very good. We appreciate it. Good luck, Otter. Thanks.
All right, good luck.
All right, be well. This is Jimmy Otter. After further review, brought to you by Parish Construction and Roofing, parishbuilt.com, parishbuilt.com. Tell you every day, do business with someone you know. That's me, Terrio, Tilly, Joe Morales, Trent Davis, our whole staff and crew, Christina and Linda and everybody. Alex, right there on Highlandia, on Lava Lane off of Highlandia, parallel to I-10, directly across from Blue Bayou. If you're just standing at Blue Bayou, you look across the interstate, you're looking right at the Parish Construction and Roofing building. But we do work all over the state of Louisiana, commercial, residential. We'd love to help you out. Do business with someone you know. Go to parishbuilt.com, parishbuilt.com for Parish Construction and Roofing, parishbuilt.com. All right, I'll do it for us. Muse, Paulie, thanks. Y'all have an awesome night. If you missed anything, catch AFR On Demand presented by Breck Golf, podcast, YouTube. It's all there. We'll see you tomorrow at 3.
After further review.
As we get on down the road, I want to remind you about Optimize. Power went out over at the Scone household over the weekend. It wasn't even terrible weather. It wasn't bad weather at all, but sometimes it just happens, man. Last week, had that terrible rain come through. You never know. When we talk about generators, it's not in power outages. It's not if, it's when. I mean, we live in South Louisiana. We have bad weather, power goes out. It happens. Yes, storms come as well. We've all, unfortunately, been in the long lines waiting for gas. We've all been in long lines waiting for ice. It's miserable. We've all sat there and sweated when the power goes out and you have no AC. Not us anymore. Ida was our breaking point. Eric and I installed a Generac automatic home hold generator, and I tell you, if that's appealing to you, call Optimize. Optimize actually just won a national award from Generac. Not only are they the best Generac dealer in the state of Louisiana, they're among the absolute best in the country. Why would you call anyone other than the Generator People? GeneratorPeople.com.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks